Greetings, everybody. I hope that you all are doing well. Yes, it's a beautiful evening, Sunday, the 24th of April, and we are live. Anita, the usual suspect, she's the first to be on tonight, 7:35. And she's on exactly 7:35. Big up yourself. Good to have you, Anita. Make sure y'all share this live. Tell a friend, tweet a friend, phone a friend, and tell everybody we're on. Yes! Central Executive meeting of the Jamaica Labour Party was lit, they say. I don't know. They said it was lit. And what does lit looks like, I really don't know. But I have to say, greetings again to everybody, and I trust that you all are doing well. Share the live. Tell everybody we're live. We are live as promised. We're going to be on at 7:30, and we are on at 7:30. So keeping the schedule according. Yeah. Let me see if my friends over at TikTok is here. All right. So it's going to be a beautiful evening. Share the program. We're going to be joined by the man himself, Mr. Subi. Yeah. We're going to talk about Jamaica. We're going to talk about some crime. We're going to talk about tourism. We're going to talk about health. We're going to talk about what matters to Jamaicans, right? Good. We're going to talk about where we are today and where we are coming from. So stick and stay. Share the program. Queer man, big up yourself. Good to see you, brother. Queer man is in the building. Lyrics man, big up. Anita, good to see you. Yes. Share the program, everybody. And go ahead and subscribe also to our YouTube channel. We're not so sure if Gabbie is going to join us. I think Gabbie has another meeting that is running a little bit over time, so we'll see. But yeah. But greetings, everybody. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you all for jumping in here and joining us. It's the 21st of April 2024, and we are live. We are live in living colors. We'll be discussing a lot of things. Forgive me there, folks. A little snuffle there, but forgive me. Let's see who is here. We're queuing up our TikTok page as well, eh? I think we're going to try to go live everywhere. So we'll be live on TikTok, we'll be live on YouTube, and we'll be live on X, the great Twitter. I don't know, this doesn't look like a good shot. What's up? Is it a good shot over here? No. Let's see. I don't know why it's not such a good shot. Doesn't look as clear as it usually. Doesn't look as crisp as it usually is. I don't know, but we'll see. But greetings again, everybody. Thank you all for coming through. Everton, what's going on? Blessings on you, my brother. Nico, big up yourself. Good to see you. When the next journal is called next year, yeah, oh yeah, definitely. But we don't have the privilege of knowing when elections are going to be called, my brother. That is the purview of the man himself, the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Well, lots for us to talk about, except what we came here to talk about. Michelle Wildman, big up yourself. Good to see you. What a go on at Belmont Road? Belmont Road is active, man. Massive resignation. What is massive resignation? What is massive resignation? There's movements of a couple persons in the secretariat at the party. You want a block of gold? I can give you a block of gold. You want a piece of gold? We're rich, you know, we have enough gold. Yeah, so there's no Kenra, how are you doing? Peace upon you too, my brother. But Michelle, there's no widespread resignation. A couple persons might have demit office, as was expected. Some realignment for persons to focus more on what their core responsibilities are. And it's a matter of, and every party does that. From time to time, you make the necessary adjustment in the party structure so as to make sure that, you know, so as to make sure that Everton says Cliff sell out to the PNP. Well, hey, that's an opinion you share. I mean, I have no evidence to substantiate that, so I'm gonna just keep my head cool. But my friends over there on TikTok, big up yourself. Good to see you all happening. Like and share and follow. Give us a follow and tap the screen and run the numbers up to where they need to be. Everton Jarrett. I don't know. I don't know, my brother. I cannot speak to who sell out to who and who intend to sell to who. I don't know about that. One thing I will tell you is that the country itself, country is doing good. I don't know about the politics itself. I don't know if we're playing enough politics. But we really need to play a lot of politics though, because sometimes too much politics don't really get things done, you know. And Jamaica really needs somebody who's going to focus on getting things done. So I'm very pleased as to where the country is right now and the prospect of folks, you know, of where we are destined to be. As promised, folks, we're going to be joined by the man himself, Mr. Vegas, a.k.a. Subi. He's going to be in the building. We're still waiting on Gabbie. I think Gabbie has some stuff. It might be an overlap in her timing, so we're still holding tight, and we'll see if she can get in here at some point. But if not, we'll just rock and roll. All right? So, we're going to have some discussion this evening. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. I mean, we cannot come here and not talk about the DPP's office and the fact that there is essentially no DPP at the moment. And when there's no DPP, it means that court just cannot be held because most of what is signed by justices, well, by councils, are signed on behalf of the DPP. And if there's no DPP in office, it means that boom. So I think the official position is that there might be a new DPP named by tomorrow in order to facilitate the smooth running of our justice system. You see, sometimes, you know, you play stupid games, you get stupid results. When you play stupid games, folks, you get stupid results. And that's what happened. That's what happened when persons are hungry for power at any cost. And when I say at any cost, I mean at any cost. When people are hungry for power, They really don't care about what happened to Jamaica, what happened to the country, what happened to our judiciary, what happens to the executive, what happens to parliament, what happens to the very democracy that we all supposed to be protecting. They don't care. People don't care about that. People are on a drive, on a quest for political control, for power, and not just power, but power at all cost. They don't care if on that journey, that drive, that quest for power, they don't care if that which they seek to govern is torn to pieces. They don't care. All they worried about is power. And that is the scary part about it, is that these folks are scared about power, are not worried about, they're not scared about what happens on the journey to power. They are worried about power, and that is all they care about. All right. So we have Vegi here, and I think he's on stream with audio only. Well, let's see. But we'll hang tight for Vegas. As soon as he's ready, he'll let us know. But yeah. So there's this desperate quest for power. And in that desperate quest, sometimes we end up hurting the very country that we seek to lead. You know, I remember some time ago when the Jamaica Labour Party was in opposition and persons were organizing to do a demonstration. They wanted to block some road and burn tire and carry on, you know, the usual way. And the Prime Minister said, hell no, no way. No, he wouldn't support that. Because he wants to be what he says is a responsible opposition. He wants to be a responsible opposition. And as such, he would not support or encourage a protest. Now, do you believe that persons on the other side? Do you believe that persons on the other side would do any such thing? Like tell their folks that we want to be a responsible opposition? No, I don't think they would. Michelle is saying that she's not impressed with the team of legal advisors to the party. Too much mistake by Marlene Malahoo Fort. Well, Marlene is what? What is her position? She's the head now of the. She's the head of the constitutional reform ministry. Sorry, the ministry that deals with constitutional affairs. That's what she heads. And the country actually has an attorney general, which is outside of Marlene's purview. So I wouldn't blame her for this. I mean, there are so many persons who would have a hand in this. The attorney general, of course, the justice minister, the constitutional persons, and other operatives within the party or within the government that should have the ability to look at these things and simply make a determination as to whether or not there is local standi, there's good grounds on which to take a matter to court. But look here, there was a justice, a chief justice in Jamaica many years ago who told Eddie Siaga that he has no local standi in Jamaica. And if he's looking for justice, he needs to go to the Privy Council. You know what that means? That he would never get justice in Jamaica. He had to go seek that at the Privy Council level because he was was never going to be entertained by persons in Jamaica. But no, I'm not going to be here to yap myself away because we have my good friend Gabbie, who is going to be joining us in a quick moment. So Vegas is going to join us. And remember, folks, we are live on our YouTube channel, Chops Media. And for all the folks over on TikTok, remember, make your way over to our YouTube channel. And you can also participate there as well. You can still come into the discussion. There's a link which will be in the chat. You click on that link and it brings you in just the same as we do on TikTok, and you can have discussions. So just a program note there for the persons, the 150 folks over there on TikTok. Please don't get too comfortable. Run on over to the YouTube channel, Chops Media, and join us there, because we're going to bring our brethren Subi on in a few minutes to just chit chat on some of these topical issues. I know the burning one right now is the Attorney General, and the fact that we don't have, not an Attorney General, we don't have a DPP right now, and as such, these have very serious implications, guys. Very serious implications, because when you don't have, and I can tell you something, it's even deeper than that. If you think that is what is deep, here's what is also deep. The Service Commission expired. I remember it's the Service Commission that actually hires or appoints the DPP. So we are in a spot about that. But the good thing is, I don't think we are in a position that cannot be fixed. And I think the powers that be are working overtime to get these matters resolved. We're a new democracy. Jamaica is just, Jamaica is not a old democracy like some of the older democracies in the world. So these are teething pains that we are going through. And the good thing is we have the ability to fix them. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring the man himself. My brethren, original, Subi, will be on. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
It's time to come back. Back to adventurous. Being curious. Spontaneous. Back to where it all began. Dare to be bold. To be fantastic. Come back to the vibe that comes alive in Jamaica.
General, why pray?
There, I know. Free the little picture of terrorists.
Get it and delete it.
Why? You know like woman?
For the my sister get catch him with it, I don't want nobody share it, and everything forget shared.
Alright, me I take one last look and then delete it.
Give me the phone and delete it. Oh, last look. Come in, class time.
Make it a new day, yeah.
All right, thank you. Welcome back, everybody. As promised, we're going to bring our good friend Subi is in the building. Gabbie, what's going on, big bro?
Yo, Chief. Give thanks, man. Give thanks for the invite.
Blessed, man. Blessed. A long time we don't meet up on them ends, because the last time I think we had a discussion was on a CVM interview. We're talking about music. This was back in the COVID period. So good to see you. What's going on with Gabbie? Gabbie must be touring. Yo, y'all just up on touring, brethren. Well, you can't see Jamaica for a little minute.
Well, right now, I'm in Jamaica now. I get ready to go to Canada for Mother's Day show with me and Sanchez and Egyptian.
Oh, that's going to be a big deal. That'll be a big deal. But tell people all the while, you see the songs that you make will outlive you in a brethren. 10 times.
Yeah, man.
10 times. Always outlive you.
It's a blessing, man, that you can have songs where that even after 25 years, 26 years, you still can perform.
Still solid. Yeah, man. Definitely, man. We invite you because we want to have a little chit chat about some of the topical issues going around in Jamaica. And, not just the topical issues, but to just look at where Jamaica is today. You're a man who traveled, and you would have seen different countries and how things are in other countries, and you can always make a comparison to Jamaica. And I know that if you did not have an interest in Jamaica, you would not be here. You
Right.
have several options, and you could easily cut off like a lot of people who have migrated and set up shop elsewhere. Just a broad question, how do you see Jamaica or we look on the international scale right now?
Well, firstly, when you check it out, lad, no one better than you.
No, in the better than you had.
So no matter where we are in the world or, which part of the world we perform, we always want to come back to Jamaica. There's another artist who more than one artist, Beanie Man. Like you can't get Beanie Man them to stay foreign. You can't get Elephant Man them to stay foreign. Sean Paul, him's like one of the major stars. And, he's always here. So it's the paradise, Jamaica is the paradise. And when we travel the world, people still get excited when we say we are from Jamaica. People get excited when we invite them to Jamaica. And people are always telling us, oh, I went to Jamaica for my honeymoon, or I went to Jamaica for vacation, and people are just excited and want to return. So it's something that we hold dearly about the paradise that we have.
And you are old enough to understand the journey of Jamaica, because when there were rough times in Jamaica.
Right.
And how things are today. Some people preach a little bit of doom and gloom sometimes, Vegas. And you will hear, I know you might have heard the same conversations too, in certain circles where people really look at Jamaica as, sometimes they speak of Jamaica as if we're a failed state. How you feel about that?
Well, I was reading some articles today from the tourism website. And you see where Jamaica is rated highly when it comes down to tourism and people interest in the region. So I know there's maybe a campaign, or there are people on social media who only publicize or proliferate the negative things that happens here. But there are so many things that we could speak about, and of course we do have problem like any other country or other countries. Yeah, we have problems that need some addressing, but in the same breath we have a lot of things going on here. We have the music, we have the aesthetic appeal, we have all of this thing here in Jamaica. We still have the beaches, we still have the best food, we still have Bob Marley images for people hold dearly. We still have the best sites. Now we're getting involved in ecotourism. I know even people from the music industry are venturing into ecotourism. I myself is looking for properties to develop ecotourism resorts. So
I think you're right, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of your colleagues would have ventured into something similar up in St. Mary, I believe.
Yeah, it's still ongoing. It's Agent Sasko. Assassin. And I heard it's a beautiful project that is looking about up there.
Yeah.
Places like John Baker Studio down in Portland, where I went. It's just beautiful. You have the cabins, and I see people, we are stushing the bush where I went. I drove past there the other day, and people just lined up and parked their vehicle and just gone into the bush to eat food. We have so many things here that we could speak about, and at the same time address the problems that we have here. And I have to remind people not to get too caught up in the politics of what is going on.
Right.
In the political argument, where we get back to the point where we start hating each other and start going after each other as Jamaicans. It is essential for us to, look at what is best for the country. What is best for the country? How are we progressing? That is the key. That's the reason why I'm involved in this process in choosing the next prime minister, the next government for Jamaica when the election calls, because I'm an advocate for progress.
Yeah, And you know that's a tricky. I'm happy you go there, Vegas. I didn't want to bring you there. I'm happy you went there first because one of the things I want to ask you because sometimes you find that persons who are of influence in Jamaica, persons who want to see a change, persons who are interested in investing in Jamaica, you have options. You could take your money. You have catalogs of music. You can live from your music until the day you pass this earth. You could move to another country and live there permanently and say goodbye to Jamaica. But you choose to invest in Jamaica. And I'm
Yeah, man.
saying there are several persons like yourself who choose freely to invest in Jamaica. But at the
Yep.
same time, they refuse to participate in the process that deals with the governance of Jamaica. It's like buying a car and you don't want to buy an insurance for it. Tell
Yep.
us what motivates you to really come out publicly and want to support the whole process of the election process in Jamaica.
I, I I remember when Andrew Holness, I think what 2015, 2016, thereabout, when he started his campaign. At the same time, they were trying to sell Goat Island, and I did my research on it and realized how much Goat Island protects the ecosystem and the mangroves and those things that is essential to the ecosystem. So I started campaigning. I started being an advocate alongside, following the footsteps of Ziggy Marley and other people who were actively fighting to keep Goat Island. So since then, I've been interested in politics. I cannot put my all into it because my lady, she don't want me in politics, So, but of course, it piqued my interest to the point where I went back to school. Just the mere fact that young people were getting elected. People like Damon Crawford, who is my brother, with my brethren, were getting elected, and it was just something that I wanted to do, and I appreciated Andrew Wolness' intelligence and stuff like that. So it actually piqued my interest into going back to school, getting an education. I wanted to do, venture into the political science, but then my nephew taught me out of it. So I went into to sociology to learn more about people and culture, and
But that to me is sociology is even deeper connecting you to politics,
right,
because in soci you still have political science in there.
right. It's what
You should that choice was a good one.
you see. I could have gone there as an elective, but I chose music and other stuff as elective.
Yeah.
So what piqued my interest was the whole movement that came with the Andrew Holness being elected, with Andrew Holness being elected as prime minister, and he was youthful, and of course, people like Damon Crawford was there before, and Damon Crawford was the type of person, or he was the type of person who sat with us and speak with us on a regular. So those things, moving forward to where it's at now, seeing Mark Golden and listening to what he's saying and what he represents. And I think one of the turning point for me, because I was real critical of like people like Buju Banton, who I thought they were against government or anti-government, but then seeing him endorsing Mark Golden and looking at what Mark Golden was representing, and some of the things, the antics that came with it, like the chain around the neck of Stone, my
Stone.
virgin,
Mm-hmm.
Big Stone, who's
The virgin to
yeah,
one.
yeah. It's like a virgin.
Yeah.
And I see it was like to score. I didn't see it as I saw it as
Genuine.
I saw it as a means to score political points, and I was like, if you can go there to score political points of something that as like slavery, I need to take a closer look at you. And then I saw I met with Curry, and I think Curry is a separatist, who believes in
Separation.
his own sovereignty.
Segregation. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I started looking at where we are as a people, and what's going on, where we were 8 years ago, 7 years ago, when Andrew Williams took over. Is there work to be done? Yes, there's work to be done, but I don't believe it's the best time to start over. I don't believe it's the best time to go back to business as usual, to not taking risks, to not getting things done. And one of the key reasons I think Andrew Wellness deserves a third term, because he had to deal with one of the worst pandemic in our generation, in my lifetime, which is COVID. And I appreciated, it was not perfect. No one knew what it really was. People were confused. People were saying the vaccine could be the best thing, so forth, so on. But the fact that he held us together, he held it down, to the point where we are recovering now economically, I think he deserves a third term.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But you know what is really, and I like the way you analyze the journey and how you got really motivated to come in. I remember you and I spoke some time ago, and I remember your wife was saying to you, "Boy, how come you disagree with such man and his endorsement?" But then, but that for you was sort of a balance to say, well, if he can be as successful as he is as a musician, and you are equally as successful as he is, then why not? You have to protect your interests, and I think he has a responsibility and a right to protect his. But you touched on something there, Vegi, earlier, where other persons are venturing into certain investment without, we don't want to tell we the numbers in your bank account, in terms of
declaration.
yeah, in terms of opportunities in Jamaica, what sort of opportunities you see? And if you were to encourage other entertainers to get involved, what would you say to them? What direction or what ear would you direct them to?
One of the best things that I think we should be hammering home and getting more youth involved is the Heart program that Andrew Wellness has upgraded. I think it's something that we really need to promote. I think gone are the days when a man come to you and tell us, say, yo, bossy, beg you 10 grand or beg you 5 grand, beg you 2 grand, beg you bills. I think that done now because I can point him or point her, to get a skill, because I think we're really short on skilled workers. I think in the construction areas, we're really lacking when it comes down to skilled workers. I think most of those jobs are being, dished out to foreigners because there are so many positions that I think we do not have enough skilled workers to take. And I think now that we're going into like form system when it comes down to building infrastructures, I think we need more skilled workers who can learn this form system so we can build faster, we can build buildings faster, quicker, and who are doing it for investment purposes can see better investments. I think there are so many areas where skilled workers are needed, and we need to educate the youth them that is not just to be on TikTok and hustling on TikTok or hustling by scamming and blame it on poverty, scamming because of poverty. I think there are opportunities now that we should promote. So I'm interested in,
But you have people who have the opposite view, Vegi, who believe that, boy, you hear this argument, not now go on. And if you listen to the opposition, you will hear that echo all the time. Not now go on. The jobs where you are getting are good jobs, and but how do you explain to somebody who works in a BPO, takes care of their family by doing that job, and you tell them that the job with them do, is worthless?
Well,
that can't be an argument.
The thing about it, we have to just keep hammering home, and we have to keep pointing to the things that are impacting people's lives positively. That is what I think. I think there are a lot of. I think it's as I said before, we have to ensure that people have to for themselves, make sure that you're not getting into politics, because I'm not doing this for politics. I think if the Jamaica Labour Party government is not moving the country forward, I will speak out against that.
I know you'll be the first. I'm certain of that.
Trust me. So of course. So what is best for you at where we're at and where we're going? What is best for you? If you think the PMP party is the best thing for you, Do your research on that. Look at 18 years of the People's National Party and tell me how it was for you. And look at where we are now with Andrew Holness. And as I said before, it's not perfect. I think we need to take care of the teachers and the security department, the police officers, the military personnel. I think those areas need some adjustment, some addressing. But I think we're on the right track.
If you look, Vegi, and when you talk about the 18 years, you touch on something that is really a sore point for a lot of Jamaicans. That 18 years, would have left Jamaica, sorry, in a bind. Sometimes I listen to the opposition, Vegi, talk about crime and how bad things are and murders out of control. By the way, I think right now we are boasting a 14% reduction in murder, which is something for us to celebrate. I can't remember the last time we go into a first quarter, the ending of a first quarter with 14% reduction. And that is significant. And that is coming because we have invested in national security. Have we invested enough? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
But there's more to come.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about crime and how you see it.
You see, a lot of people may point to the fact that Andrew Holness said we're going to sleep with our doors open. But I also think that is something that we have to look into ourselves as Jamaicans as well. Why we can't sleep with our doors open. It is not just left up to government for us to do that. We have to participate as a people for that to be to manifest. Because the government alone cannot fight crime. It needs us as a people to stay vigilant. It needs us as a people to demonstrate the right behavior, the right attitude towards fighting crime in Jamaica. It cannot be a situation where we are anti-police, but we expect a better result when it comes down to crime and violence. We expect crime and violence to go away, but we are so anti-police that we listen to these vloggers on the internet, and we demonize the police officers, or demonize the JCF, and we have seen videos. We have seen videos where the soldiers, the military personnel are in areas and people are actually fighting the military personnel, and these are some of the things that we must rebuke. Also, on the part of the military personnel or the police officers, we have to ensure that they are properly trained and know how to deal with people.
Yeah, because it's a two-way street.
Yes.
We can't expect to ask police officers to, be kind and gentle with society, but society is not kind and gentle with police officers. I see where there's a...
It's going to take a collective effort for us as Jamaicans. If we want a better Jamaica, it's going to take a collective approach. It cannot be just... And because I think we're onto something. We're onto something. It just needs more. I think just need to be more vigilant and aggressive with it.
And I think the investment, because the government had spent in excess of $50 billion on the security forces within the last few years.
Right.
And as they have been saying, that you won't see that result one go, but with a reduction gradually in murder, I mean, it is fair to say that the results are coming. I mean, I don't know if anybody remember the last time we entered a first quarter, completing a first quarter, because the end of April is going to be the end of the first quarter.
Right.
With a 14% reduction in murder. That, to me, is probably unprecedented.
Let me tell you how I look at the Jamaica Labour Party and the PMP Party. Or let's look at the Jamaica Labour Party. If people want change, they want to get rid of Andrew Holness because of whatever semantics or whatever people are throwing out there, trivial stuff. In my view, that has nothing to do with our daily lives. Most of what they are throwing around, there's nothing to. It's not going to make us move forward. It's not benefiting us in a way where we can get up tomorrow morning and the people that live in the inner cities gonna make their lives better. It's just trivial stuff that are political. But let's say the Jamaica Labour Party is a girlfriend that you're trying to break up with, or you're trying to break up with your fiancé, and you write down 10 bad things and 10 good things, yeah, and see, weigh the scale and see what is best for you. If it's best to stay in this relationship or to leave the relationship. So that is how I would approach going forward with an election. Maybe next year they're going to call an election. That is how we go forward. Write down the good and the bad that you get from Andrew Holness and the good and the bad that you get from the People's National Party.
So from your vantage point, let's say you were contemplating, separating from the JLP. Let's say the JLP is one of them nice curvy girl, and you contemplate, say, boy, she give me bun, or she not perform, you want to break up. What do you want to think?
I say, oh, cooking. You see,
Yeah.
Cooking, miserable.
Yeah.
Cooking, turn up.
Yeah.
Bedroom, turn up. I go struggle for leave. I can't leave because from cooking and bedroom, turn up, say.
So in the JLP now, if you were to write that list of stuff, good and bad, I mean, obviously, it seemed to be based on the conversation that the good would have far away outweighed the bad.
Yeah, because there are issues. It's not a perfect
Not
situation.
perfect, yeah.
Understand me? So there are things that I could point out and we could but guess what? Rome was not built in one day, and the damage, I think that that the political damage over the years, it's not something that we're going to recover from in no short period. I think we have to be somewhat patient going forward.
Mm-hmm.
If we really need some form of progress, or if we mean some form of progressive movement.
Well, you've seen. Well, let me touch on the economy a little bit, because you are not just an entertainer. You are an entrepreneur. You're a businessman, and you, at the end of the day, you are looking out for your bottom line. And you mentioned the 1990s, and I'm quite certain that persons who have that same investment appetite, who experienced the 1990s or who have read about the 1990s, would be very cautious of the PNP. Would you agree with that?
Very much so. Very much so. Because I'm into construction, and I'm, it's like when you hear PNP, you start fret.
So tell us one experience where you, probably not you, but persons what would have drive your fear when it comes to the PNP?
Well, just even look at the mere fact. I think the increasing of density in some areas.
Yes.
You buy a piece of land for so much money, right? You spend so much on buying a piece of land because everybody is skyrocketing the land price.
Yes.
So land is gold. You buy a piece of land and you spend all your money, and then you may not want to use your capital to develop.
Right.
So you may go to the bank, and the interest rate may be, high, where you have to make back this money. So increasing the density gives developers a chance to make some profit. And in my view, I don't think the PNP want developers to make any profit.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that, Viggy?
Because
I see Garfield Reed want to join us. Garfield?
I think there's a level of micromanagement of wealth, of people who are doing well. I think there's a calculated effort to zone in on people who are doing well. By the PNP administration, in my view.
Chopper.
Greetings, sir. How you doing?
Greeting, Mr. Vegas. How are you, man? Good.
Hail chief.
Chopper, we had a conversation earlier as we spoke before, and when we talk about governance and politics, I heard Vegas mention about the promise of the Prime Minister of sleeping with the windows and door open, and he make it be clear that it's a collective effort to fight crime, and if everybody will participate in it, we will eventually get there to sleep with our windows or our door open. But Chopper, that is the conversation that we need to have. Going back in the PMP bad governance, Chopper, let us talk about how we can push Jamaica forward. Let us talk about how we can get interest rate down so Vegas and many more and others can borrow money so they can develop. Is it going back, Chopper, in the days of the bad PMP are going into the rhetoric? It doesn't make any sense. And I myself, as you know, I favor the PMP party. But right now, I have made a decision for me to go back and discredit a government or to spread propaganda on the Angela administration. It doesn't make any sense. When we speak, we just need to speak the truth. As a matter of fact, the Jamaica Labour Party, in my opinion, have this economy rocking. But does everybody is playing in the economy? No. So let us show the people who are claiming that they are not getting a part of the economy. Let us open those doors and venues so those people can participate in the economy. So those people now can walk into Scotiabank and say, listen me, I just retooled. I used to earn $50,000 a month. Now my income is at $150,000 a month. So my debt to ratio income now has reduced. I have more capital to spend. So now I can get better loans. Those are the conversation, Chopper. I don't know if I'm stupid, but I may be, you know.
Come on, you're a very smart man. You're a very smart man.
I think what you're saying, both things can be true. Because I go back to the same analogy of a woman. Sometimes you have to remind people, not to step back into, what can harm them.
That is true. That is true, Vegas.
So, in other words, you can't, your movement, a successful movement, is harder to achieve if you forget the past.
I agree, but it don't necessarily mean though we need to score political experience for political points because
I agree.
we need to raise the bar. Because when we get on these platforms, it's just, and even the political directorate, them, the Andrew and the Mark Golding, it is just scoring of political points, even in Parliament. And when you look at it, when are we going to change that narrative? When are we going to change that discussion? Because remember, a baby just get born today at Jubilee. So what are we going to teach that youth when him look at it in the gallery and see two opposing sides? It is going at it. And furthermore, the opposition is a part of the government. And people need to understand that. And the opposition is not there to oppose the government. The opposition is there to make sure what the government is putting forward is beneficial to every Jamaican. And if it is not, that is the time now you come with a critique, but not.
And you think that which you just explained a while ago is what the PNP is currently doing?
Not at all. Not at all.
Then let me ask you this, because I know you have the ears of the leadership of the PNP.
No, please don't do
Hold on a second. Why is it that you would not have this conversation and say to your PNP that, look, man, you have to be a responsible opposition. You cannot derail a government. If this is the same government that you want to manage, if God forbid you were to come to office, why you want to turn over the whole thing and mash it up?
Well, Chopper, Chopper, I make mention of this argument on my program from time to time.
And I don't see having that conversation with the PNP colleagues, man.
Most, Chopper, up to this morning, I had a conversation with a PNP colleague, a good friend of Mr. Vegas himself also. Okay, he called me with some shenanigans, and I said, listen, man, this is what's going on. What's going on at Belmont Road? Belmont Road is a JLP headquarters. I want to talk about what goes on at Hope Road, because that is what run the country. I want to talk about what goes on in the Parliament. I don't want to talk about what goes on at Hope Road or Belmont Road, because they are two political animals, and people need to separate themselves from that and understand the politics. And when we talk about politics is not about going on a platform, Chopper. You know that politics is about your garbage get picked up in front of Gigi Plaza, Hope Road. A morning time when you look on the Offer Tree channel, the Offer Tree camera, you see a ton of garbage out there on a Sunday morning. Like remind me of Brooklyn, New York.
But Garfield, and
You know?
I don't want to belabor the point too much because you spoke, Mr. Vegas, him talk about, repeat what you earlier mentioned about the process for getting to the level where you sleep with the door open. I live in the United States. You live in the United States, Vegas sometimes. Garfield live in the United States. And I don't know where Garfield live. I know he live in South Florida, which is just like downtown Kingston in the Arctic sometimes. I mean, know him can't sleep with the door open on the windows.
No, I can definitely do that. I can rest assured. As a matter of fact.
No. It may be able to, you know, but it's maybe gated.
Exactly. So sometimes we come, and because a significant amount of Jamaicans are not exposed to the United States and other countries. We come and we talk and we make it seem like
100%.
Jamaica is the worst place. But when you really check it, a lot of the places in the United States, there are places in Georgia, places in Chicago now that has more crime than Jamaica. But when you put the crime numbers up against 52 states with 130 million people versus a little 144 square mile, you're going to get a different ratio and you're going to get some similarities. I don't even know why we measure crime the way we measure it, Vegas, in terms of comparing with countries that are 50 times the size of Jamaica with a first world budget. How you see that?
Well, it's the starting points, you know. People like, I think there's a niche market when it comes down to spreading propaganda about or spreading of information, negative information, when it comes down to the social media outlets that we have now. So I think more of that is being circulated, and people seem to think that Jamaica should be compared with regions that are, you know, 100 times larger than Jamaica.
Right.
And they are also, people have to take into consideration that some of the information that is put forward, that has been put forward, is there are informations to drive tourism away from Jamaica as well. Because
why would they want to do that though, Vegas? Have you looked at the travel advisor recently? How you took that one when it came?
Well, that's great, but doing hospitality management, I'm somewhat excited about the influx of tourists, and I'm also cautious because I don't want it to lead to over tourism. But that's a whole different conversation. But my point is, we try to compare Jamaica with other regions, and we do not look at the data and look at what is causing the most crime and violence in Jamaica. You know, murder, I think murder is 70% of the murders committed in Jamaica is related to gang violence.
What percentage? 70%, you said, right?
Almost 70%, but I stand correct.
Yeah.
So we have to look at areas where these crimes are being committed, who are committing these crimes, and then we zone in on those areas and those regions to bring down the crime rate.
There are two areas, you know. There are two main areas for crime in Jamaica, you know, based on the statistics I saw recently. One of them was, as you rightfully put it, was gang related, and the other was actually domestic.
Right.
There's very few cases where people just go rob somewhere and kill people, you know. Very few cases. There are very few cases where tourists is being injured or killed in robbery. It is gang and domestic, where man and woman and people have family dispute and resort to killing each other. How does a government fix that?
As I said before, it comes with one. We have to. I was speaking to a brother today, and he was trying to figure out how do we get to the younger generation, the kids, the children, to at an early age, so we can, have them go into programs or venture into programs where they can step away from, violent outbursts, violent crimes. I think there's a level of cannot even communicate with each other anymore. We can't reason out things anymore. So it turns to violence. Mm-hmm. And I think some of these situations are products of the homes. We have a lot of homes where there are no fathers,
Broken
single
home.
mothers raising children, and the justice system. I think the courts need to do more to get the fathers to stand up to their responsibilities, because a lot of these.
But stick up in there, Vegas. Stick a whole heap of common pin and the big pin and all of them pin there. Stick up in there. Because you are saying something now that I have to challenge. You're
Right,
saying that the court need to do something to get the fathers to step up more.
right.
But there's a report out that says 70% that you are calling on the fathers to come forward are not the father.
And not the fathers.
How do you deal with that?
No, Chopper, please let me chime in on this, Chopper. Please. Chopper,
Go ahead.
Chopper,
Right, Gabbie.
Chopper. Not because a man receive a jacket. If you accept that jacket, Chopper,
Huh?
that if listen to this, and I am dead serious with this. If you accept the jacket and you know the child you accept the jacket, I believe most fathers who literally get to know that this child is not their child, the majority of these fathers still embraces these children. They still do. They still do. So, but I don't think we need to go down this road because we're going to open a whole can of worms.
No. That's a problem. We try to continue kicking this can down the
No,
road.
we're not kicking it.
Nobody
Chopper,
wants to
but-
deal with it.
But
Because
Chopper,
here's Vegas now
but
saying.
remember, Chopper, though. But remember.
Hold on a second, Garfield. Here's Vegas now saying, boy, the justice system need to hold these fathers accountable because we have a lot of single parent or single mothers in Jamaica. And it's contributing to broken homes, which sometimes contribute to violent behavior, which is a fact.
Agree.
Let
But I
us go
believe
to
that
the
has
root of the
changed, though.
problem. The root of the problem is that there are missing fathers.
Yes.
Why are the fathers missing?
But what era of missing fathers are we talking about, though, Chopper?
I say what era do you mean?
What era? What era? I'm 52 years old, and
Yes.
frankly speaking, every youth that I grew up with in Portmore, and we live all over this world, Jamaica, wherever, I cannot point out one of my community brethren, people who we grew up with in the neighborhood, are deadbeat fathers, and I'm being honest.
I understand that, but we know that the current statistics, Vegi, actually is correct based on what you said. There's a significant amount of mothers in Jamaica today who are single mothers, and the fathers are missing. But I am saying to you that perhaps the fathers are missing simply because they're not the father.
But I think a lot of fathers are oblivious to that fact.
Yes.
So I don't think it's a situation where they know they're not the father why they're missing. I just think we have a
A culture.
society here. I don't think it's cultural. I think it's just the way we look at things as you know, we look at men or not now go on for me, so you know, I'm just cut a work and move. Breed a girl, you know, we have a breed a girl culture.
Yeah.
And if we not breed a girl with soft, we feel like we not breed a girl with a guinea.
Yeah.
So we have a breed the breeder mentality where you know, it doesn't matter, you know, where we plant a seed, we just want to plant seed all over the place.
Yeah, but Vegas, you really believe that is still today that is prominent? Well, depending on the age group we're talking about, because this conversation can go many ways, Vegas, especially with someone like you who are actually an artist, someone on the world stage in dancehall or / reggae music. I mean, when you you know, Vegas, this conversation about fathers
But I think this whole conversation is for another time.
yeah, I really believe so.
But I was alluding to the, you know, without doing the DNA test at this point.
Correct.
The main thing for us to focus on.
Most definitely.
Because remember, these women did not get themselves pregnant.
Exactly.
So we know they are fathers out here.
Exactly.
And it is essential for fathers to step up to the plate and take care of the children.
Education.
In that way, we have children who are not. We don't have to use the same argument that crime and violence is being caused by, poverty.
No, I don't
But
believe so
Garfield,
either. No.
but Garfield, since and I like the fact that we have you here, and I want to ask you this though. In terms of us going into the first quarter, because the end of April will put us at the end of the first quarter in 2024, and we're steering down the barrel
The end
of
of
a
March.
14. Huh?
The end of March.
Well, March is the third month, and
No, but it's not the first. How much month? 4 3 is 12, right?
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
right. So the quarter is going to be the end of April.
April, correct.
And I'm saying that we're staring down the barrel of a 14% reduction in murder. How do you now put that
Into
to
perspective.
in perspective? I mean, to your people, because your people always harp on this whole crime and murder as a big issue.
Well, obviously, the powers that be, the police, the military, the intelligence, the community, it's basically working. But before we go that, I just want to make a point here of interest, that something I heard today, and I really had to think about it and say it really makes sense. Like this 14-year-old kid gets stabbed in St. James at the school in Montego Bay, as you know, in your local municipal there. And the I guess the advocates are there counseling the youths and the family. And people and what need to be said more whenever someone in a school get killed violently or a tragic, it puts the whole community in mourning. The school community and your household community. So you as a youth or an individual, whether you're a big man or a little youth, whosoever you are, remember, when you commit a crime, you are putting your own family, because they are the one who have to come to the prison and give the food and follow you to the lawyer to get the lawyer. So if we can use these things, Chopper, to think about it.
What I'm asking you really, in a Garfield, is when you out there on the political.
No, I'm going to get to that.
No, but you take too long for land the ship.
No, man, I'm going to
I
get
want
to that.
to know, because
But
you
what
are
I
a
am
man.
saying,
You are very vocal when it comes to the politics and Jamaican politics.
yes, I'm
When
going to
the
get
crime,
to that.
hold on a second, when the crime and the murders are high, you are very vocal about it.
Yeah,
So I am saying to you that I'm not here in the same level of concern or congratulations or commendations to the government and the security forces for a 14% reduction in murder going into the first quarter of 2024. I'm not hearing that from you.
When I asked the question, I answered you. The powers that be, the security forces, the citizenry of Jamaica, obviously it's working. So
No. And you see, that is a problem with you. You're sidestepping. You're dilly-dallying, you're wishy-washy. Because you know, but you know that the citizens, hold on a second, you just cannot even bring yourself to give the government the credit for giving us a 14% reduction in murder going into the first quarter.
Yeah, but again, are you going to allow me to speak, sir?
But I can't do the whole show to go to dilly-dally because I have Ryan. I have.
No, okay.
Hold on a second. I have former G2K president Ryan Strong is joining us, and I can't afford for Ryan to come here and hear you going down this line and dilly-dally. I have to call you out because you were very vocal when the murder rate was high, and understandably so. But now that it is going down, Garfield, I'm expecting to hear you loud and clear.
But Chopper, in my little minimum capacity,
yes.
I urge Jamaicans that live in the diaspora to expose people who is shipping back guns to Jamaica.
You've been saying that. Have you said that on the Jeffrey Tavares show?
Of course.
I'd never hear it.
Wholeheartedly. Chopper, I implore people, if you know John Brown is committing a crime, you need to let the police know. And I said to you again earlier, the government of Jamaica has this economy rocking. I did say that.
When you say rocking, what do you mean?
In a positive sense, the economy.
I wanted to say it, man. Don't mince words. And what do you say about the crime? The crime that you always harp about.
Chopper, the crime to me, in what I have seen and my experience, because I patrol the news all day, all night, we are seeing crimes happening in Jamaica, but this crime where breaking, rape, murders for people who are not involved in criminal enterprise, that's under decline. So basically, as Vegas said earlier, most of the crimes are now happening in Jamaica are gang-related crime. We are not seeing the large influx of domestic crime that
Whether
happens.
gang or not, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. My thing to you, Garfield, and you need to be honest in your pronouncement.
But I'm going to tell you this.
Are you going to give the government credit for a reduction, 14%?
Wait, want me? You want me to give the government a cookie?
No. I wanted to acknowledge because when it's high, you talk about it.
But Chopper, I acknowledged that to you a while ago, Chopper.
All right, well, stand by. We have former G2K president Ryan, my good friend. Ryan, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for the invite, Chopper. Short notice.
Yes. Give
I
thanks.
make a little time to come.
I appreciate it, as always.
But this is like how Ryan is on now, Chopper. You're going to talk about GLP now and gutter politics now. And I'm not into that.
Hey,
I'm not into partisan politics.
Well, if you're not, you can have yourself a wonderful night. It was nice.
When you get there,
I'm going to tell you, Ryan, because you are going to come to defend the GLP, not the government. And if the PMP did come on and the same thing the PMP are going to do. And Ryan, hear what I'm saying though, Ryan. Hear what I'm saying. My argument is this, Ryan. I support the PMP party. And you know that, everybody know that, right? But what I'm saying, going back and blaming the PMP, going back and spreading propaganda on the present government and telling lies and making up stories and not really, and not being transparent in what is being said from either side, it doesn't make any sense. We need to hold on, man. We need to hold the argument where, we are going to help the present leaders of Jamaica to get Jamaica better. Because whether or not we want to accept it, yes or no, Mark Golan is in opposition. Mark Golan needs to be a responsible opposition leader, and he's a part of the government. So that is what I'm saying. People need to get out.
Are you going to denounce? Are you going to denounce some of the lies and misinformation that is being spread by him? Yes or no?
Of course, 100%.
But you should do it. Why don't you do that?
Every day.
Then why don't you do that, Garfield? Stand by for a second. Ryan, how you do? Greetings.
I good, man. Respect.
Yeah, man. Thank you for joining us, brethren. We're talking some politics and some happenings in the country. You mean you've seen some things happen at the party level this evening, some of which is already in the public space. Some recalibration and adjustment, which every party does that from time to time. Anything you can divulge or expand on what is in the public space already?
Well, you can tell from what I'm wearing. I was in a meeting today. So
there you go.
I don't really have an opinion on what transpired. The leadership in their knowledge or their wisdom decided that, the following changes were necessary, or persons would have relinquished the respective roles they were in. I think what's important is that, and I try to tell this to people, Labour Party hasn't lost an election since 2011. That's 13 years ago.
We have not lost an election.
That's 2011.
Yes.
That's 13 years ago, right? If you even think about a business, what we have gotten you somewhere 15 years ago is not likely to be what keeps you there now. So changes are part of progress. It's just a function of time. So, I join with the party in saying that, expressing gratitude, to all of those who would have served really well. As you would have known, Ollie Gordon would have been on leave for quite a bit of time. So I suppose that would have been more routine than the others, in the general sense. But no, I think it's, if I'm putting on a green shirt, in that sense, it's exciting to see what the future holds. I think the fact that we could have leadership broadly speaking, recognize the need to adjust, says a lot that the party is in tune with the realities of the times. I think it also says that over the next, 6 to 9 months, we'll see even more changes, and I think we'll see even more development. And I expect it to be positive. At the same time, it would seem the government would have a smoother runway than before, because they were dealing with the pandemic and the challenges associated with that. And finally, for the first time, I think in 4 years, being able to cast a budget without thinking about COVID, and the effects of that in the immediate sense. So generally speaking, I came away from it with a positive feeling and looking, excited for the future.
Good, good. I know there is also the matter of the DPP and what transpired there. I know the matter is going to be ventilated in the appeals court, but currently, as it stands now, what's your interpretation? I know you guys would have dealt with that at the meeting today. Is there anything that is in the public space again that you can elaborate on where that is concerned?
Nothing jumps out at me. I think I'm a stockbroker, not an attorney, so the nuances of that circumstance are a little bit unfamiliar territory to me, for me. And I mean, at the end of the day, the DPP is a function of the administration of the country, whether I think and as such, less so the party, but more so the country. So separating the two, I would say that, I mean, whatever is orthodox and legal term just has to go forward. But I don't really,
Right.
I'm not equipped or even able to speak.
Well, I see some press releases came out from the opposition. I'm not going to repeat them because the truth is I don't want to repeat things that comes from an organization that really I have to question their credibility.
Fair.
So at this stage, I will wait until an official release from the government,
Yes.
on that matter. But
Yes.
as it stands now, it seems like we are in limbo a little bit. One of the things that I will always say to people, Ryan, is that Jamaica is a young democracy,
Yes.
And I think sometimes when we have these little legal hurdle, people look at it as something bad. When really and truly, it is really not, because we are a small country and a young democracy. We're going to have these hurdles. America, who is over what?
Hundreds of years or even
Hundreds
more.
of years.
Yeah.
They are still today amending their constitution and challenging their own constitution to get it right. So we shouldn't feel bad when things, like these arise and we have to make amendments and change as we go along.
And I mean, I'm an is what it is what it is kind of person, right? So like right now we're just about to secure digital identities or for citizens voluntarily, right? Those who so choose, and that will facilitate the ease of business and the speed of business and the buzzword that people love to use a lot, productivity. And we're also looking at procurement as far as moving away from, okay, not just having procurement bureaucracy to prevent corruption, but no, having procurement bureaucracy to facilitate speedy execution while trusting the frameworks that were established before. These are still relatively new things, as you would have rightly said, Japa. So, for me, I don't really get myself too flustered by circumstances such as this. Oppositions are there, and I mean, it's been an opposition in the wilderness for 9 years, going 9 years. So you can understand that they'd have a little bit more fervor and trying to make a mountain out of every molehill that exists, calling out their associates and their affiliates and the hidden supporters. So I'm not really perturbed by that. I think what's good is that we know the outcome is going to be the right one, whichever way, So
Whichever way it goes. All right, we have Vegas on Ryan. And Ryan.
Ryan,
I'm good, man. I hope you're well.
Yeah, everything good. I said my virgin Nesta resigned.
Yes.
Is that strategic? Is his resignation a step in the direction of getting people that are going to be more aggressive? Are they putting someone in there who's going to be more aggressive when it comes on to the social media, promotion and stuff like that we have to do?
As it is, I think what what's going to happen is, and this is one thing I can say, though, it's going to be more about a collective responsibility than any one person. And it can be it's a tough role because something go wrong. There's one person being blamed, and Nesta served really well for a long time. I'm talking more than 10 years. So it's a little, it can be tough. He has responsibilities for information, responsibilities for constituency, and I don't know if you've been to North Central, but it's a humongous constituency, a lot of hilly terrain, and a lot of work has been done. A lot of work needs to be done. I think though, for that social media and all of that, that's going to be more collective in nature. I don't think it's going to rest on one person.
Right.
It may be. It's going to be interesting to see what it all looks like, but it's more of a team thing. More, I'd say, more cohesion. And in times past, we've done really well with community type spreading the messages. So I kind of expect to see more of that than maybe not so much one person at the forefront.
Right. I think we're kind of lacking in that area. Because trust me, the PMP is really, really out there heavily on social media.
Well, what happened? What happened to What happened, gentlemen?
Outdo L.A. Lewis.
Oh Lord.
When you look at this, when you look at the position though, Vegi and George, I see you trying to join us here, George. I'll bring you in a second. But when you look at how the position of information minister and the same person who is director of communications for the party, so it's one person carrying two messages, which those two messages are two separate messages.
Plus, he's an
remember, things that Nesta can say in his capacity as for the GLP, he cannot say it as the minister. Now, how do you separate those two, Ryan? When the same individual is doing it? It's tough.
It's tough.
Right.
It's tough.
So you always have to be factual. You always have to be politically 100% correct. You can't toe a party line, and you can't say it the way the party wants to disseminate it. You have to play that ministerial role. It takes precedent. And I know that has been a tough challenge for Nesta. Plus, remember, the man is also a member of parliament, as Ryan just outlined a while ago. So I think relinquishing...
First term.
Yeah.
So, the first term MP thing is a lot. It's really not till you've won twice that you really get to even start to settle. Because, by the time you win, you're essentially starting to cement yourself. And then,
right.
So it's a lot for one person.
Well, I think he has more time now to focus on his constituency.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. And also the ministerial position of information minister as well, because that really would have taken a back seat, especially when it comes election time, that we're focusing on the politics and the governance information. It's a tricky and tough position to be in.
And JLP is we're all a family, but it's like a family it's a big family.
Big family.
Members, so it's a lot. It's a lot.
I want to ask a question regarding the situation with the DPP.
Yeah.
If the constitution was amended to 65 years, and in section 196, subsection 2, I think it is, was amended that she could serve. It was amended lawfully. Do you think there's a chance at the appeals court for it to be overturned? Or do you think there should have been more done in the amendment? Because I think the amendment did not give any signs of a retroactive situation when it comes down to the DPP. And I think that is where the vagueness is coming in.
Well, I'll be honest, that's above my pay grade. I'll say this. I heard a school of thought that under the adjustments to 65 or whatever, there really wouldn't be any reason for another extension because she still be within her right to carry
stay on.
Right. So if that holds, which I don't know, but it does seem like a fair grounds to
Yeah,
make
because what it is saying essentially, is that you're asking for an extension, so the court is going to throw it out because you don't need one.
Right. My problem was, why
Why
did
would
they
you ask for an extension if you don't need it? Because there's something that was amended that take away the fact that you need an extension.
But I think the PSC ruling and the Governor General's ruling, I think that was where the contention comes in, because she's not supposed, if they're saying it's retroactive, which the language was not clear on that, and I think that's where a little bit of hiccup is too. But let's say they're arguing that point. I don't think the asking for an extension, a second extension, was necessary.
Well, I don't. I mean, for me, as I've stayed far from this one, because one thing with me, like, I can talk to finance and stuff like crime.
Right,
And when you
right.
get
But I think,
Legal, yeah.
you know,
but,
what I
but,
mean? As we
but I
was
think it's a major cause of concern, because with crime rate going down, what are we looking at? And even though you said this is out of your region, but what are we looking at this point? If it is argued in court and it gets to even the point of the Privy Council, where she was not lawfully elected, and those cases that she presides over are going to be
No, but the Constitution protects that.
No, I think they said that. I think I heard something say that all the work she had done to date would have been.
It's protected. It's protected.
I don't think
because she acted as though the office would have acted as though they thought she was legitimate. So the Constitution give protection for all the work. Because I don't believe that the framers of these laws,
You think the PNP believes that?
Well, it's not the PNP, it's the law.
That's not what I want to ask. I want to ask, why are they so eager to see her gone?
That's
well,
that's what I'm trying to.
We have a person online here. Carl, how you do?
That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, Carl. Yeah, Carl.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, we're hearing you.
Okay, yes. Very interesting discussion. Very interesting discussion. It's very enlightening what the gentlemen are saying.
Yes.
But one point I want to make though, and I think you kind of touched on it with Mr. Vegas, when it came on to the issue of crime. Okay, when the crime rate is high, everybody is blaming the government, rightly so, because the government has resources to solve these problems. Fine, but what I can't appreciate is when we take the approach that, okay, when it's going down, it's the community. That's what I heard Mr. Vega said. The community. It's the community who is responsible for the reduction in crime. Now, I'm not saying that the community doesn't play a role, because the policing is a community activity. It must be a cooperation, a partnership between all the different elements, including the community, to take us to the point where we can celebrate a reduction in crime. But I'm just saying, we have to acknowledge that government policy has also played a role. What has the government done in this regard? The government has put more resources in the police, force. And I'm not speaking politically, I'm speaking objectively. What has the government done? The government has put in Jamaica Eye. It has given the police more vehicles. It has upgraded the police stations. It has done so many things to improve the situation when it comes on to policing in Jamaica. Trained more police, hired more police. So many different things that the government has done. And I'm not saying that the community doesn't play a role, but I'm just saying you have to give the government credit where the credit is due. That's my point.
Well, I agree. It's actually, as I'm in the midst of writing an article about that very thing for a few reasons. So last year, at this time, crime was down, murders were down 17%, right? Which was the lowest rate in 7 years. Carl, right?
Yes, correct.
This year, it's down 14%. It is not coincidental that we're seeing increased investments in JDF assets, increased investments in police assets. increase salaries for police personnel, that it would seem that some persons would want us to forget. Multi-billion-dollar salary increases and retroactive payments. What I find most fascinating is that the former commissioner detailed all of this as specific needs for the force to get Jamaica to the point of, well, bring it further along in becoming a much safer environment. And what I found most startling was some of the same people who were balling for a crime plan, who are quiet now, were the same people trying to downplay the accomplishments of the former commissioner of police and almost politicizing the role. And again, I'm led to inquire why. Remember as well, we have had record numbers of criminal organizations being brought to court. Some are yet to come to court. A lot, because I think at the time he had said, the DCP responsible for crime had said there are about, whether it be 18 or 20 something, but there are a number of other trials ahead of us, right? We'd have seen, there's one from Westmoreland, there's two from St. Catherine, one I would have heard about two recent fatalities. So I think it's all part of a much bigger plan that's being executed. And I think giving credit to the government and the Ministry of National Security, and most of all the JCF, would mean them walking back the sentiments from 3, 4, 5 years. In fact, as recently as last year, because from murder rate and falling, I don't hear anybody talking about crime. Right.
But do you think this is a result of, as I said before, there's no when it comes down to social media campaigns or social media publications, I'm not seeing it.
It's in a free for all.
It's there, the problem is, I'm not defending the output, right? Because anything can be improved. So I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, it's perfect or whatever, right? Because I don't think we've ever had. At one time when it was more vociferous, people were saying, oh, well, shore rangers are, the damage or bullies and damaging social media space and whatever. So whichever way we have it, people are going to say something. I think though the reluctance to acknowledge it is, it's unfortunate, but a lot of persons just thrive on negativity. And they just, and
that's profound. That's profound and sad.
They thrive on. So you'll have the Gleaner say, oh, we had 100 murders by, I don't know what it was. I think it was the middle of March, right? And then in the fine print, you say, but murders down 14% for the year. But then if you think about it, like in other years, we don't hit 100 murders by February. And again, these are little things that go missing because the news cycles are so fast, in the society, and it's always something happening. So when we want to talk about, oh, well, murders down 14%, no, but then the newspapers going to want to talk about DPP tomorrow. So you get what I'm saying? So it's really hard to capture the imagination or the attention of
how do you drown that out?
Yeah, drown it out. Or they put it on the second page.
But how can we drown that out?
Right. How we counter that? How do we counter that?
It's a collective output.
Push.
Yeah. A collective, coordinated, orchestrated push.
Sir Carl, what you say about that? How do we fix that issue that Ryan just raised?
Well, he made a profound point when he says that certain people thrive on negativity.
It says.
Yes, and I will tell you something. One problem I'll say with our culture is that we lack belief in ourselves. We lack optimism and belief in ourselves. And what do I mean by that? Because of this lack of optimism and belief in ourselves, we are quicker and more likely to believe the negative.
Right.
We grab onto the negative more readily instead of saying, look, we have achieved this as a country. We have achieved this. Let's keep it going. No one is saying, and I'm not hearing Ryan as a representative of the government here, I'm not hearing Ryan say we've achieved everything that we need to achieve. What I hear him to be saying is that we have gotten to a point where things are improving and we need to keep the progress going. That's what I hear him to be saying. So we can't be all negative, all looking for the worst things to say and put the positive news to the page 2, as he just mentioned.
That's the reason that's the reason why it's very important for us to maximize the outlets that are available to us.
Yeah.
Because that is what I see the opposition doing.
And I think whichever team, Ryan, whether it's a team or an individual that takes up the role of PR chair or communications director, whichever it is, for the party, there has to be a concerted effort to maximize on what Vegas was talking about a while ago. Is maximizing. You know what? I saw at 11 o'clock a few months ago, probably a month right before the local government election, 11 o'clock in the night, I saw Mark Golden on a live on TikTok talking politics. Well,
yeah,
I'm dead serious. 11 o'clock in the night, he was on a TikTok live talking the usual misinformation.
I think the Jamaica Labour Party cannot be, too complacent and waiting for next year or when they call the election, people start running around campaigning. I think we have to start building a grassroots movement like what Barack Obama did. Start going door to door from early. Start going social media to social media from early. I think
and really look at Vegas is ready to knock on some doors. You might have to recruit.
This laid back approach will get us in trouble. I remember when the local government election, I reached out to Chopper and I said, "Yo, we're sleeping. We're going to lose. We're going to get a problem." And,
that is true.
You called it. And I said, "Listen, problem, and see, we lost a major seat that I thought would have, held on to Kingston and St. Andrew."
Yeah, well, and that's a sure yet because we might have a rerun where that is concerned, right, Ryan?
Well, I'm not anticipating that.
Well, I can tell you something, You know why you should anticipate it? Andrew Holness is Prime Minister today because of that exact same court ruling.
The mayor already putting in stuff in place that
he's if it goes to court and the court says no, it has to be a rerun, and they go in there, run a by-election in there, and the GLP wins that election, that's it. He's out.
Well, I'm telling you, this man is moving forward, but I think, in all honesty, this laid-back approach, waiting until next year or whenever the election is called to start campaigning and start getting foot soldiers involved. I'm not in support of that. I think Mark Golden and the PMP and his the Glean and the other outlets, in my view, I think they're doing a good job at proliferating the negative things that people are tuning into. Like the other day, I saw a headline. I think it was a Gleaner. Shoot out in Trelawney. And I was like, I was going to the country, and I was like, Trelawney shoot out, me nah bother go. And when I read the article further, it was a competition, it was a shooting competition in Trelawney. But the headline said shoot out. Go and look at it. Shoot out in Trelawney. Look at it.
But I'm saying, why these guys doing that, man? What motivates that kind of thing, Carl?
So when you see that now, you say crime and violence. Andrew got to go, crime and violence, because a shootout in Trelawney.
Are we going to see a headline that says 14% reduction in murder? The first we have had that in the first quarter of any year. Are we going to see that headline?
No.
That's the reason why you have to use up the outlets that you're privy to. You can't depend on this old print media.
Can't expect them to do it for us.
Exactly.
Can't expect them to do it for us. Carl, I know you're excited about what's happening. Vegas earlier spoke about some of the opportunities that exist for persons who want to invest, and based on the economic climate, he's very excited. I know last time we had a discussion about it. How you feel about how the economy is structured right now?
Well, I believe the Jamaican economy has a number of exciting opportunities. I saw even an international report talking about the $4 billion plus US dollars that Jamaica is earning annually from tourism.
Yeah.
And I don't personally. I want us to have a diversified economy. I don't want us to have an economy that is on a one burner. Let's put it that way. But the tourism itself, as many people recognize, tourism itself can be a catalyst for growth in a number of other industries, the furniture industry, the agriculture, so many different areas, entertainment, tourism can help, even medical, even the medical services that can grow as a result of Jamaica's strong tourism performance. So I I think we have a good minister of tourism. Nobody will doubt that. But I think we can be more creative, trying to find other ways to capitalize on tourism. One of the great things about Jamaica that I don't think we recognize enough is the central location of the island. It's natural. No one can take that away from us. We're basically blocking the Panama Canal, and because we're so central in the Caribbean, blocking almost the Panama Canal, all of these things are opportunities that Jamaica can make use of. But if I can, there's something I wanted to mention when we were on the politics issue, Chopper. And Darrell Vaz, I want to quote Darrell Vaz or mention something that he spoke about. Darrell Vaz said that wherever the young people are, that is the party that is carrying the swing. So the old people, if you look at the demographic of those that vote for the PNP, these are the people who were young in the 1970s. That is the largest demographic that votes for the People's National Party, you know. So I am saying the JLP, in its efforts to do public relations and to speak about the great accomplishments, the focus should be on the young people. You're not going to change the old ahead so easy. Focus on the young people.
Facts. Facts.
I
Yeah.
agree. I concur with that.
It's
I think
telling you.
there's so many programs for us to tap into where we can get the young people involved.
Well, it's interesting because it was this PM that brought back the Prime Minister's Youth Awards, and it celebrates performance by young people. It's a nice little vibe. After party afterwards was last night. I attended a few times when I was in G2K. Most certainly the first time. I don't think we had it because it was 2020, 2021. We never had those years because of COVID. So I think this may be the first year since. They may have done it last year. And it was quite interesting. Just
It was on last year. Yeah, they had it last year too.
last year. Okay, I wasn't president then, so we missed the two. But that was a very good initiative. I take the point 100%. Read the young people. They are
Right.
definitely the weather vane. They do still seem to be with the Jamaica Labour Party, particularly the 18 to 25. That 25 to 35 bracket may be a little tricky, but that 18 to 25 and really young persons, like 6-year-olds up, are all still with the party. So I do agree with that. There was a point that I just wanted to touch very, very briefly. It's something that's been bothering me for a while, and I think Vegas, you made a very, very good point, which is, and I want to combine the two in terms of that groundwork and the groundwork at the community level in terms of engagement, and then the PR communications. I think there's value in both in them working simultaneously. The interesting thing in this last election is that in some areas, and without getting into the specifics, right? Some areas we underperformed because of a lack of engagement, in others for other reasons, but then we overperformed in others where the person's engaged well. Yeah? So I do think that, as it was said, the numbers are there. It's just for everybody to do what they
We
need
need
to
community
do.
organization, man.
Yeah, do it well. I
They
think though,
need to interact with the youth them. Like for example, Jamaica, we just won the global tourist destination of the year award,
Yeah.
which is big. And the reason why I mentioned this, because when you look at people like Kai Senat and them, the younger generation, how they're enthusiastic about coming to Jamaica. We look at Burna Boy, them come to Jamaica. They talk about they want to buy properties here. We look at Cardi B, them vacationing in Jamaica. These are some of the things that we have to engage the younger generation, that we are moving forward with this new Jamaica, where people want to come here. You understand?
But are
People
we
want
maximizing on these things over here? Because
we're not.
Net thing, 9 million views. And I mean,
We're definitely
even
not.
2 weeks after his visit, he was
This
streaming
this
Jamaica.
was the biggest carnival. They're now saying Jamaica is going to be the destination for carnival.
Exactly.
So we have to understand. Andrew Holness, I think the youth more can more relate to Andrew Holness, because he's more of that type of character. Where you will see him in Popcorn out in St. Thomas. You will see him in a Clark shoes. And I think for the generation not to grow old and stay stagnant, I think we have to get the youth them involved. It needs more organizing and more people who are influential to interact with the youth them and let them not be afraid to get involved in politics. You know?
There's going to be some engagement. I can say that, for some more engagement.
Yeah, man.
There's going to be some interesting things that are in the immediate future, and I can give 100% assurance of that. And I can also say that we will not be disappointed when it's all done. A lot is happening already, but like any responsible party, you have to take the time to see, to learn from what happened, the
Right.
good, bad, and the ugly,
Right.
and make adjustments as is necessary. And I give my complete assurance that that's going to happen. I'm 150% sure of that, and that's from what I've heard internally, what I've seen, and what I'm privy to. But sometimes for a tree to keep growing, you have to prune, and sometimes these things just do happen. I can say this though, which is interesting, which is a good reason for hope. This is the first time a multi-term government has still won a local government election. It hasn't happened before a general.
Right.
So whilst we would have our own disappointments for various things, I mean, we were 100 votes on winning 9-4, but I don't think 9-4 would have reflected the how well a campaign was run. I still think even if it was 9-4, that it would have still been things that we could have done better. And there are other things that should have been done that weren't done. So it's just, I would just say it's part of the process. What's important is how does everybody respond? Does leadership respond? And I mean, if the video was none, I'd say a lot more, but there are a lot of exciting things happening under the quiet. I said this as well. And this I can say that my observation, I don't hear anybody clamoring for the PNP. I may hear people cussing Andrew or cussing the party, JLP, for whatever, but I don't hear them say we want the PNP. So that's a dangerous space in the sense that you can have that antagonistic thing work against you. But what it also says is all the message is essentially, we want you guys to do better.
Right.
But
Carl,
and I think he's heading into that direction. I think there was a wake up call with how close the local government election was. I think there was a wake up call, or there's still a wake up call where I've seen where the prime minister is out there putting in the work and people. But again, we need the traffic to be directed to the outlet.
Yes.
Yeah. Carl, what say you? What say you on that?
Well, I just wanted to add something to what we were talking about earlier, if I could, about with the young people, that what is being done must be done to capture the imagination of the young people, that they see that what is being done is for them and that they have a bright future in Jamaica. They have to see that. I'm still seeing young people leaving Jamaica. From where I sit, I can tell you, I'm still seeing young people leaving Jamaica. I'm still seeing young people not being optimistic about the future of Jamaica. Right? When I see the young people leaving, that's a problem for me. When they are going back and staying, that's good.
Well, let me jump in, Carl. So brief, and it's nothing. I want to talk about the cycle of economics for a second, right? You will always have young people leaving. And what I think, though, is important is two things. One, for the last, I want to say 10 years since the junior market, Jamaica Stock Exchange junior market was introduced. If and this is not something that's said a lot, maybe persons haven't noticed, but a lot of the former of the CEOs or lead executives of these companies and even some of the main market ones are Jamaicans who came back home. Okay. Because these companies grew, were bigger, and a lot of them said, you know what, I can come home and have a good living. A lot of people studied overseas, like myself, came back. I've not worked overseas, but I did go to college overseas, came back and found our way locally. So I'm not put off by young people leaving. I'm put off if all of them leave, obviously, right? But I don't want it ever to be said that people migrating for work is because listen, they may go away for 5 years and come back. Some may go away for 7, 8, 9, 10 years and come back. What we want is the workforce to have a number of strong contributors who can, because it's the end of the day, even when we're hiring, we don't just necessarily want people with local experience alone either. We want at least persons who may have traveled to another country or travel for work, and because that speaks so much more rounded environment, especially if you're trying to compete on a regional scale. So I wouldn't say that them leaving in and of itself is bad. Now, if they're running like they were in the 90s or in the 2000s when we couldn't get a job out here, like that was a reality I would have seen, then that's a little different. I think a lot of people have said to me, I've had friends who had jobs in New York making 100,000, 150, well, probably close to 200,000 dollars, saying, listen, I have 2 kids, 3 kids. I can't raise them and live in Manhattan. I just don't have enough money to do that. I mean, come home and try something. And it worked. I think we want an environment that is able to give persons options. If they want to go for a while, they can go. Some even go for 20 years. And a lot of what my friends who are in their 40s now lament and say, John, I wish I could come back. No, but they're kind of too settled there. But I know some of them are also now contemplating it, and more will, because what's happening now, and again, these things tend to happen in the quiet or under the quiet before they become well known, is that a lot of foreigners are doing business in Jamaica now.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of the places you see people renting for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month is foreigners, it's expats, right? Set up shop, family, wife, everybody is here. That's one of the reasons why you have this rise of coffee shops, right? Because a lot of housewives have nothing to do in the day. So they have coffee and they have meetings and all that, right? And that's why you're now seeing economies being built within the main economy now, which is, I think, a testament to deliberate growth policies being pursued by Jamaica Labour Party. Almost every major economic development you would have seen over the last 20 years has been with the JLP in power. If it was the PNP following the IMF structures and the fiscal rules that the Jamaica Labour Party set, well, they can get a little credit for that. But everything else has been a spin-off. Has it been communicated well enough? To people to grasp that? I don't know. But
I want to acknowledge your point, Ryan, that people leaving is not necessarily a bad thing, because remittances is also still a major contributor to the Jamaican economy.
Yes.
It's way up there. So, and these are people, these are Jamaicans. The remittances is Jamaicans who go overseas and sending back money. I can tell you, some of the past student associations, I can tell you, they raise money overseas and send it back to their alma mater. That's foreign currency coming into the Jamaican economy directly. So yes, I agree with you. And as you say, leaving, going overseas to get up to date skills and coming back to Jamaica must
It's a
be
good
the benefit of Jamaica.
Yes,
Yeah, because I
yes.
mean we have local firms going overseas to look at Grace Kennedy. They do almost half the revenue overseas and others. So
I think also because I think I'm really think there are opportunities that we're missing out with the new technological era that we're in,
mm,
and the we're in an internet era. I think you Ryan are from the younger generation, and I think there are other brilliant minds that I come across, some brilliant minds that are from the Jamaica Labour Party as well, but just youth who are interested or who aspire to be, in government. And I think there needs to be, I'm seeing where the PMP they're having these diaspora meetings and all of these things, and I don't think it's something new. I think it's something that we definitely need to look into how we get these great young minds on platforms where they speak on where Jamaica is going and how they're involved in the process from just the diaspora.
fair. Um, uh, yes, a lot of the diaspora leaders, the public ones are PNP subordinates. But like the Bible says, there's a remnant. I can't say much more than that, but there's a remnant and there's a lot to happen there. So I'll leave it at that.
But Carl,
I'm
you're in the
aware.
diaspora.
I'll say Mr. Everton, I'm not Mr. G2K anymore, yeah? And yes, Cornell, I'm listening to Mr. Vegas. I think
Yeah, I think they're still having you as Mr.
what
G2
if
here
I'm still thinking, why it's 2 years? Like,
after 2 years, isn't it? That says something though.
huh?
That says something, and I hope
Yeah,
you're thinking about it. It says something. It says that you would have left a good impression there.
seems.
You were edged in the mind of people as being G2K.
Yeah,
I
Well,
hope we'll get.
I think Ryan should be tasked with getting the young generation of political minds together, and have
Yeah.
these conversations. That's this weekly conversation. This because remember one time we have radio and we have
Yes.
we got television that done. You
Dead.
understand what I say?
Dead.
No, what we need is just because you are youthful, and
Mhm.
when the young people see when them see people like Chopper and
With,
me and
with gray hair.
here and me know Vegas. My mother used to listen Vegas. You know, it's like I said, them need to start adhere to the message where I come from. The youthful vibration where I come from the party. I think.
Yeah, good talk. I'll look into it
Yeah, make
further.
people just outdo the Jamaica Labour Party. And if when I surf the internet on a nightly basis, I'm seeing like 10, 15 platforms just a hammer it home.
Yeah.
Andrew a thief,
Yeah.
corruption.
I mean, a poor little me out there. Come on. We have some. Well, let me not say poor little me, because the truth is you have a few JLP folks out there who are doing their thing. I see Rashima is out there. And kudos to her. She's banging it away. And we just have to go out there and support these guys. There are a lot of other persons out there who are doing lives and having discussions. But they need, Ryan, what they need, and I know you have the ears of folks as well. They need support. And when I say support, it's not necessarily monetary support. Let me give you an example. In the United States, there was two sisters who back in 2016 supported Trump. They were very vocal. And they came out in support of Trump.
Right?
Two black girls.
Yeah, man.
And they came out and was very vocal of Trump and supported Trump. And Trump didn't cut them a check. You know what Trump did? Trump went and endorsed their platform, went on their live, have discussion with them, and build their platform up to
Photographs
millions.
with them, did video clips with them.
And that was money for them. That was giving them money.
Facts.
Mm.
And
That alone was giving them money.
Corner for like from the start.
Yeah.
See?
You know those two girls, Viggy.
Yeah,
And
man.
they're popular
You
now.
know what point I couldn't stand them, but guess what? They were a force.
Exactly. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
but the truth is they did what they had to do, and the Republican at the time saw an opportunity, endorsed them, and they blew up all over the place. So probably we need to start looking at some of these youngsters who are on TikTok and asking some of the leaders to go out
Because
there and support them.
they influence the youth them on the ground.
Yeah, and support don't mean cutting them a check.
You see, but they influence the youth them on the ground.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be all old politics as usual and complaining about political things. It can be, where the country is going, the beauty of Jamaica, the aesthetic appeal, all of those things we need to highlight. You understand me? I say put programs in place where them want to come to Jamaica. We have carnival, we have, create some more dancehall thing.
Yeah, man.
Street.
Some of the ministers them need to just patrol social media. Just go to scan through what you call it, TikTok. And look out for some. Well, I guess they'll know.
There's a star in the Jamaica Labour Party that I think is underused, and because I think he's temperance, I believe. But Warmington, they love Warmington on the social media.
People love him. If Warmington is on alive tomorrow morning, it crashed the internet.
We need Warmington out there at this point to be talking about why these people are so keen in getting rid of the DPP. What they're running from, what they're hiding. We need Warmington.
Ryan, can you invite him on for us?
Why you want
I'd love to have Warmington.
You should just send him a message, send him the link one day, make him click. You might just click on it.
He might just click it. Let me tell you something. I don't want to take that chance,
Why?
The next thing I send Warmy that link and then click it and strike me up with that piece of fabric. So what did you say, Kogimi?
But call him.
So I have to call him and prep him before.
No, but somebody has to let him understand that how important.
But we need Warmy, man. We need Warmy out here.
Party. Because the other day, when him take back his resignation, people just just a man.
Look, even the media who despise Warmy, in some sense, love him. Trust me, they love Warmy.
Listen me, he can be very likable. He's authentic.
Yes.
He always be himself.
Yes.
And people
help me, Ryan. Help me to get him on next week.
To ask the hard question: why the PMP is so keen on putting the country in turmoil?
We're going live again on Tuesday. Just ask Warmy if he can come and answer these 3 questions. Why is the PMP?
Send him a message, Joe. Send him a message, Joe.
Tell him social media asking for him. They hunted for Warmington. TikTok would love to see him.
But Mr. Vegas asked a good question. Why some people are bent on putting the country in turmoil? You have to understand that there is an us versus them narrative. Some pitting some Jamaicans against other Jamaicans instead of all of us working together towards a common goal.
Right.
This is the problem. I think that narrative. Ryan probably a little bit young, but I remember it from the 1970s. I remember it. I remember that idea that look, there are some people in Jamaica that are keeping down the poor people. All we have to do is fight down those Jamaicans, and then the rest of us can rise. That's what was being said. That's what was being pushed at the time. I don't know how Mr. Vegas is, but I remember it. And it destroyed the country. That is what destroyed the country, Mr. Vegas. This idea that we are warring, we as Jamaicans are warring against each other.
And that is a climate that is, I think that climate is coming back. Okay, it's not there as yet, but I think that is what the PMP or the opposition is working on, because what is happening is it's not being an opposition, as we spoke about before, as the gentleman that came on earlier, being an opposition who is helping or aiding in moving the country forward. I think it's being an opposition to oppose everything that the government is doing.
Yeah.
So that causes the divide in even the conversation. And these social media platforms that are active social media platforms that are getting thousands of people when they go live. And it's a lot of divisive rhetorics. that pin people against each other. So we
Yeah.
have to find the audience or get someone to proliferate the message that this is not about turning against each other. This is about moving the country in the right direction.
And you have to do that with facts.
Facts.
Because some of what is being pushed out there right now is baseless.
Lies.
And it takes too long for the facts to come to follow up.
Yeah, man. But I am gonna run and catch up next week when I get to Warmington. You know,
Yeah,
so.
definitely.
Looking forward to the youth diaspora, conversations. Yeah.
Yeah, man, definitely.
They give
Definitely.
thanks.
Yeah, man. Enough respect, Vegas. Thank you for coming through.
Respect here.
Yeah, man.
Respect, we go.
Yeah, but Ryan,
Yeah.
you have the last word, as always. And
Yeah,
no,
well,
well, you have your word. I mean, Carl is gonna give us the last word.
I always appreciate, joining, to link Chopper. It's a long time we're talking, so I really appreciate
man.
friendship,
And I appreciate it too, Bridget. I appreciate you coming through.
every time, from even when it was a little tougher, and to
Yes.
give
Yes.
thanks. I just want to say to the members of the Jamaica Labour Party that there's no need for panic. There are things that we need to do that we are aware of and that we are actively doing. The journey continues. There is much to be proud of. There are a few things to correct. They are being corrected. And we all just have to remember that we are all a team, whether you're in this shirt or you're, wear blue because you can't be too in the forefront with it. We're still here working together, and every role is important. Every member is important. Every vote is important. There were divisions won by 6 votes, 7 votes after recount. So it is literally every person has a role to play, whether it's the rich businessman, the madman, the gardener, the lawyer, the accountant, the tech person, the call center person. That's 1 vote. And as such, every vote counts, every voice matters, and the voices are being heard. So let's encourage everybody. Keep the faith. Great days are ahead. The team is working hard, and it will be even better for everybody. So, Chopper, big up yourself, and I've taken some notes, and I want to thank you, and thank you to your audience as well for the comments, the encouragement, and the feedback. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And also, Ryan, we want to say thank you because, there's very few people out there who, believe me, I've never, ever invited you on and you say, boy, I can't make it. I remember there were times when you were busy and you stepped out a meeting to join us. And Ryan has been here from, when I say day one, we're talking about from in the 2015, 2016, when I just used to use my little phone up in Atlanta and go live. The first merch that was ever purchased from the Chopping Block merch store at the time was by Ryan. So how far back we go.
Yes,
this gentleman has always supported our social media campaign. Whatever it is that we're doing in support of the GLP, you don't have to call 2 times. Ryan is always there. So that's why I say big up. Enough respect. I appreciate you coming through.
Every time.
All right.
Big up. Cool.
Carl, you have the last word, my brother.
Yes, Chops. Interesting discussion. 2 well-considered gentlemen. I am very impressed with both of them, both Ryan and Mr. Vegas, in terms of how well thought out their ideas are. I'm very impressed. And what I'd want to say is that we as Jamaicans, we must believe in ourselves. Believe that we can achieve it. Have a vision for where we want Jamaica to be, i.e., a place where we can live in peace, grow, raise our families,
and do business. Yes.
We must see Jamaica in that light. Whatever our age is, understand that we can make Jamaica into the real Wakanda. Jamaica can be the real Wakanda, so let's believe it and have a vision and work towards it.
Yes.
Don't follow the negative, the naysayers and those who preach doom and gloom. Let's be positive. A lot has been achieved, and what we have seen is that we can pick ourselves up. Look where we're coming from, Chapo. Look where we're coming.
Yeah, man. I mean,
coming from. Look where we're coming. You know what happened? The U.S. the Black Black Caucus in the U.S.
yes,
Congress, they made representation to the IMF that look, you have to help Jamaica.
yes,
Yeah, that's where we're coming from. You know, this is prior to 2016.
yes, man. We're in the hole. The
Yes.
sick child of the Caribbean.
They
That's
had
who we were
20. That's just how long ago? That 10 years ago maximum.
10 years ago. 10 years ago.
And look where we are now. So whatever we can envision, we can achieve.
We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We are doing it.
And we are doing it.
We are doing it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Well, Carl, again, like I said, man, I mean, you've always, like Ryan and many others, many other folks on the platform here, you and I have been having these conversations about Jamaica. We share the same optimism about Jamaica, and our love for Jamaica we have never watered down our love. We never dwindled down in any. Yeah, we always maintain that over the years. We've had all kind of discussion, but it is always to say that Jamaica is the place, as you just outlined, for us to work, raise family, and to do our business. I'm waiting to hear you say, well, I know you have an interest in coming back, you know. I know you're ready to rock and roll. So, you know. But again, Carl, I appreciate you coming through. And please, man, you know, like, I don't have to tell you to come back again, because you know the door is always open. Okay. And anytime you're ready, you have an open entrance to come in and have the discussion with us. We're trying to go live 3 days per week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Okay. So any one of those days that you feel like you want to join us, I know you're very vast in terms of your knowledge on the issues that we're dealing with. So anytime at all, I will knock on the door, and I hope you'll be willing to join us.
Yes, of course. Anytime I can, I will, for sure.
Thank you very much, Carl. Enough respect.
All right, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Yeah, so that was my good friend Carl there coming through. Denzel, I see you. You are in the building. Michael Hendricks is in the building. Janadian, big up yourself. Good to see you. Marlene P. And all the folks over there in the UK, big up yourself. All the folks over in Canada, big up yourself. Shut, big up yourself. Kuya Scarlett, big up yourself. Annette, what's going on here? Annette Allen, I see you. You are in the building. Cornel Elvie, big up yourself. Betsy Powell, you are in the building as well. Angie, big up yourself. Big up yourself. Bali, the great Bali, my good friend Bali Foster is in the building. Big up yourself, Bali. I hope everything is good over there in the islands. Let's say that. Michelle Wildman, I see you. You are in the building. Everton Jarrett, big up yourself. And to all my folks over on TikTok. Big up yourself. Big up yourself to Joshua. I see Joshua. JJ is in the building. I see Lexi is in the building. Esther is in the building. Who else is in the building? The building is closed. Where is Ren's girl is in the building? Who else? Who else is in the building? Identify yourself. Who we got up here? Let's see. We see the great Mr. Morgan is in the building. The general himself is in the building. Rob, what's going on, Papa?
Hey, Chapa, what's going on, man?
Boy, not a whole lot. We're here shooting the breeze as usual. We're live on Insta. Well, we're live on X, formerly Twitter. We're live on our YouTube channel, and of course, we're over here on the TikTok. What's going on with you, brother?
All is well, man. All is well. Just touching base with you.
Appreciate it.
Live going and give thanks. You keeping the flame burning or keeping the bell ringing, whichever one.
As always. As always. Yeah, so if you know, I don't know if you were watching earlier. There's a bunch of folks over on the on the other page here, and they had questions and they had comments and commendations, and everybody had their own opinion and stuff, and the word is out there that you have relinquished your position as PR chair and moving on to higher heights. Is there anything you can tell us about that, boss?
Well, yes, I have relinquished the position as PR chair. When you're part of an organization, you have to make decisions that you think are in the best interest of the organization. I've always been a laborite. I have never tried to put myself above the party. And whatever the party requires, I will acquiesce to it.
Good.
I now have more time to spend in my constituency because that is the most important aspect of what we're doing. So I'm now in the constituency 4 days a week.
Wow.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. I go to church every Sunday in the constituency.
Yeah, are you baptized yet, Mr. Morgan? So like you're ready to get dipped, man.
Well, we dip already, because we are God-fearing people.
Good. Yeah, man.
And I want to say something about God, and a lot of people don't like talk about God.
Yes.
I mean, I could not be here without the grace of God and the blood of the saints.
Well, that's true, bro. I mean, hey.
Because I'm gonna say something to you, Chopper.
Mm-hmm.
When the local election came and the enemies stood at the gates and the saints came and they looked upon me and they prayed for me.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan, come here. Where you running to? Come here. What's up?
Yeah.
Because my little son no want to go in bed yet.
Well, that's all right. You can hang out with us, man. Always welcome.
And the saints, I went to my office, Chopper, and I saw 5 pastors sitting down at the office waiting for me. I was late. I was like 2 hours late and they never left. And they took me and they prayed for me. And they said, Nesta, you're a good person, you're a good MP, you're a decent MP, you're a respectable MP. We need somebody like that to continue as member of parliament. I never listened to them, I never believed them. I think them are gimmicks, man. But then I started to go to church again.
Yeah.
I know that the prodigal son, sometimes you don't go to church.
You have to return, man, every now and then.
And then I started going back to church every week. Every Sunday I took my family, drove and went to church, and every church I went, Chopper, them pray for me.
Fellowship with your people, man. Get back to your people, that stuff.
I will say to you, those of us who are on the live who don't believe in the power of prayer, you need to go and find a church or find a pastor or find an elder. You understand? And let me tell you something, like that day in a Chopper. Once you have the shield in front of you, you're good enough.
Yeah, man. There's no ifs and buts about that.
So, as it relates to the current circumstance, I am no longer the chairman of the party public relations committee.
Yes.
The party is going to have to make a decision
as to who will lead that.
And I'm always going to be here. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. I said to my constituents that if it's one labor left on this surface of the earth, it will be Robert Nesta Morgan. We're not going to threaten to switch. We're not going to switch. We're not going to be like some people who try to threaten so them are going to join PNP. We will never do that.
Never, ever. Never.
We are committed to the Jamaica Labour Party forever and ever. Amen.
Well, let me tell you, Nesta, I have the privilege of working with you on a lot of occasions. I mean, like I said to Ryan earlier, when we started to do this online thing here where a lot of people are on now, before there was TikTok before there were all of these online platforms, were out there. And I can say this not because you're here, because I said it all the time. You were one of the few people who saw what we were doing and realized that we were doing something that is useful and something that makes sense, and you endorsed it 100%.
Yeah, man, I remember the days. I mean, I remember when nobody never used to blog.
Nobody never used to blog, man.
I remember those days, Chopper, when people used to laugh after we and
yeah, man. Yeah, man.
No, you know, one of the most important stories I remember when we started this Facebook thing.
Yeah.
I think Machi Samuda was one of the guys, and the next Sinclair from Montego Bay started Facebook with the Prime Minister. And we took it over and started running it. And people used to laugh after me, say, oh, may I run back a Prime Minister with camera?
Yeah. Hey, we talk about that all the while on this stuff. We have that conversation recently, you know.
Yeah, man. People used to laugh after
me
and say, I used to run back at the Prime Minister with one little Panasonic camera and I take picture and I put on Facebook and them thing there. And people used to laugh after me, say, may I Andrew on his camera, boy.
Yeah, man. I'm back, boy.
Yes.
A matter of fact, when you became director of communications and you indicated that you have a desire to go to representational politics and you made it public, there were significant amount of persons who said no because they just didn't see you as anything other than the guy with the camera.
But you know, the Lord reigns and the Lord blesses those. Never abandon his children, you know.
Never ever.
You know?
Never ever.
And when we think back about where we're coming from in the politics and where we're coming from Woodall in a Clarendon, we used to ride donkey and selling at the market to know we're in the government and we're a minister of government and reach a particular level in the system nationally. We have to give thanks and we have to respect all of those who supported us all the time. Because at the end of the day, that is what the JLP is about. Now, we did have the t-shirt too, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
There on market truck come a parliament.
Yeah.
Right? Remember, we did have gully government. Because we are the one that build the gully. Remember?
Yeah, man. Isaac Barron. Yeah.
And mobilize the whole of the sugar workers them up a Frome. Back in them time, the PNP never like poor people, are just some Jumbler people and some Tapanarist people them like. And people need to understand the history of the Jamaica Labour Party, you know. The Jamaica Labour Party, a poor people party. There's a reason why most of the seats that the Jamaica Labour Party have now is in rural Jamaica.
It was designed that way, yes.
North Clarendon, North Central Clarendon, the whole of Chilani, the whole of St. James.
And they were supposed to control Kingston.
Yeah, the rural parts of St. Anne. We have the whole of Portland, we have the whole of St. Thomas, we have East Rural St. Andrew, we have West Rural St. Andrew. Because the people in rural Jamaica understand that it's on the Jamaica Labour Party. Look out for people who need help. They understand. So we have to understand ourselves as people who support the party, not as people who are look out for
self-interest.
Where we want. But there are many kids who are going to school now because the JLP start feed people 5 days a week in a school rather than 2. There are many youths now who have certification. Yesterday I was in Chapelton where 257 young people came out.
Yes, I saw that thing. It was live on here. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, and 70 of them sign up for heart. The rest of them sign up so they want a farm work yard. We have some youth we have heart certificate for tractor
operator,
Reno's operation, all of those things, right? And how is it that a lot of these guys got their certification? It was through the policies of the Jamaica Labour Party. So we have to think about what is it that is important for the development of the country. Is it that a lot of chattings are going on in the country, you know, Chopper?
Mm-hmm.
And I say chatting because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Even in my seat, the PNP's strategy is to just tell lie upon you for win election.
Mm-hmm.
Them just decide, say, I lie them over tell upon you. Like, every day I wake up, I get a next WhatsApp, but one next lie with them tell upon me. Yesterday, I hear them say, I go stop every cockfighting in a Clarendon. I wonder how I'm so powerful, chopper.
Mm-hmm.
Them say, I go stop every cockfight in a Clarendon. And that's what they do. Them go around, them go to churches, them go to community groups, them go to CDCs, and all they do is just tell lie. Because they can't beat up on road, chopper.
Yes.
They can't beat up how much people will help. They can't beat up on St. Thomas.
Can't.
They can't. They can't beat up on Mobile because we do the most development in Mobile. Perimeter Road, new hotel, them and build up, people that get jobs. They can't beat up on the economy. The only thing they can beat us on.
Can't beat on crime. Think about that.
They can't beat up on crime.
14%.
Because we are cut crime, we are step on
But,
crime.
but let me ask you this though. Isn't 14% going into the first quarter unprecedented?
Remember, last year we did the 40 still, you know.
At the end of the first quarter?
Yeah, man.
Mm.
And what happened is that we did have to stop the SOE them.
Oh.
The other man, them said them not support the SOE.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, the purpose of the SOE was to give the police them space to build up the infrastructure where they have now.
Yes.
And you don't build infrastructure in one day, you have to take a time. So we started with a strategy of using the SOEs to build up infrastructure. And then, as the infrastructure build up now and the police build them capacity in terms of investigation, in terms of forensics, in terms of the vehicle and whatever, in terms of all of those things. You needed to give the police the space to recruit more police officers. Like right now with our 14,000 there about
Is
police.
that almost double, eh?
Yeah, because when we come here, now for the police, them did upon this job and the rest of them about 7,000 upon the road. Right? So the point I'm making to you, Chopper, is that at the end of the day, the people of Jamaica need to understand, say, the PNP don't have no policies.
None at all.
And, I mean, me not jester and me not gimmicks out the thing. Me talk facts. What can the PNP do to build Jamaica that we are not trying to do?
Can't think of anything right now, to be honest with you.
Under Coacher and PJ, unemployment was like 16%.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we see companies that go out and I say them can't find people for work. We agree that would need more increase in our salaries for like low-income people. But we increased minimum wage by the highest in the history of Jamaica. Last year, we increased it by 50%. Yeah?
Never seen that before.
And this year, we increased it by a next double digit. That has never happened before, bro. Remember, we said 1.5, you know, and now we say 1.7.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Golden and say, man, got 3 million. I want to ask him for pay feet. I'll know him not. You know, say, I'll know.
That's I'll never answer.
That's not told the country. How am I going to pay for the $3 million tax?
I know him. Duck that question there.
Ignore it, you know. But me not ignoring it because me not PR chairman anymore, so I'm free to say.
Thank you very much. And that's the next time you want long time.
I am not restrained.
Yeah.
By the tentacles of anything.
Yes.
The man come and say, Chopper, that he might go increase
Threshold.
the tax threshold to $3 million.
Yeah.
And we did it on media parliament, and I sit down in my chair, humble as a lamb, because I said, Jesus Christ, Mark, I go liquid out. And my hand there, my class, my hand so and I pray. And I say, yes, Mark, I go tell you, Mark, I go find a miracle. Tell me how am I going to pay for the $3 million?
I know.
I'm there tell you. You know, like how the woman them sit on the chair wait for Bob Marley.
Yeah.
We're looking and waiting.
Wait in vain.
I know we can't. I know we don't know how we're going to pay for it.
Because it's an unrealistic promise. It's a political gimmicks.
It's gimmicks. It's gimmicks. And one of the mistakes we make as Jamaicans in a chopper is like you have your woman live in your yard. And you go to work every day and bring in the cheddar. And you them food, alright. And you go to work every day, the school fee I pay, the light bill I pay, the water I pay. The household economy is doing well.
Yes.
And the woman look across the road and see one man in a nice car. And him there in my yard every day.
Yeah.
And every time you go to work, the band come at the fence with him sweet mouth.
Yeah.
I say, yo, you know him not spend enough time with you. And you start think about it and say, boy, every day I'm gonna work. Him not spend no time with me, and this a man I know with him nice car. Every day him have time to spend with me, but when you don't realize that the man don't have a job, and his mother mind him.
Yes, him have time.
The man his mother there Florida send money come give him a borrow money in the pan.
And it's soon run out.
So you left the good man where you have, where I go work every day. So I take care of the people, take care of the house, and you go there with this man now, his mother mind him. Because him have a nice car and him let the fee every day. My eyeglass, him not nothing to do. And after a couple months' time, you start to ask yourself the question, but what are they? But no food in the house.
And shout him.
The people them can't go to school. But the car when him come and show me, I don't feel him car. That's the PNP for you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
PNP is gonna come and they're gonna present to you the greatest thing in the world. They're gonna tell us that them can bring manna from heaven.
You know what
that when they come in a power, every ghetto youth are gonna be rich.
But that's what they've been telling the scammers, you know, that they're gonna make it legal.
And here's the thing. It's not the first time. In 1972, Michael Manley promised Jamaica the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You remember?
Was it Better Must Come?
Better Must Come.
Mm-hmm.
Them are all of the DJ, them are drive around in a bandstand.
Yeah.
Community. And I say, oh, Shira wicked.
Yeah, man.
And JLP now look out for poor people. What happened to poor people between 1976 and 1980?
Mm-hmm.
When you as a man go to the supermarket, you go buy some red peas to cook some Sunday dinner.
Married man.
And the cashier tell us, say, listen, if you want the red peas, you have to buy the stay free.
None of the red peas are the rice, the basic food commodities, the rice or the flour. And listen, remember, you know, Nesta, this is not something I heard, you know. I like where me come from, you know. Mr. Murray shop, when my father sent me down there, up to last week, we spoke about it. When my father sent me down there, so I go buy a pound and a half of flour, mixed flour. A pound and a half of flour and half pound of cornmeal. Because them here, so Mr. Morris just get flour. And when I go down and tell Miss Morris, say, my father sent me down there to get a pound and a half of flour, mixed flour. A pound and a half of mixed flour is 2 pounds.
That's a white flour and cornmeal.
Yeah, so them just call it pound and a half because really it's a pound and a half of flour you're going to get with half pound of cornmeal. So it is really 2 pounds. Yes. But that 2 pounds, I had to buy what was called at the time stay free. I'm dead. Listen, this is what me experience. Me remember my grandmother lived in a compound town, a place named Whitehall. And there was a lady who used to bake. She lived in one place named, I don't remember what Chinnelit name. But when you go over there to go buy, them say she get sugar. She get sugar. Yes, because the word come. The word comes. So Miss Louise, her name was Louise.
Everybody in the community.
Yeah. When I go over there, you know, Listen to me. Miss Louise have a big crocus bag of sugar under the bed. And she have to move the chimney. The chimney, put one side, pull out the sugar, and scrape out 2 pounds out of it, wait for her scale, and give me, if you carry down, go give me grandmother. Listen, these are not stories that nobody tell me. Me live it. So me know the sort of economy that the PNP preside over. Yeah, man.
Worse than that. We're not going to go in a FinSac on the 90s. 2011. Labor right them know about FinSac already, because enough of them parents suffer under FinSac. Remember when Bruce Golding won in 2007, we started to fix the economy because we just take over from Omar Davis and run with it.
Yes. Explain what run with it was if I was Lester.
We did have a song panel program when every year Omar have a hole in our budget.
There's a hole in the budget. I know that things are falling apart. The center cannot hold. There's a hole in the budget.
Young people don't understand this. Enough of we don't understand, because I grew up in the 90s, so me understand it. A lot of we don't understand how nasty it was in the 90s. You know?
Terrible, man.
We don't understand when. Let's look at how the police are functioning now. Under them time, you know, every month a year or every couple months a year, one new death squad. Remember, in my community, in a North Central, you had one of the most terrible incidents in the history of Jamaica, which was the Crawl killings.
Yes, man. Oh, yeah.
Renita Adams went to court for, right? And there were many accusations that I will not repeat on this program. Remember, you have Acid, you had Ardent, you have Intrepid.
Yep. Eradication.
You had
CMU.
your son lying down in a bed, and police just come kick off the door and whatever. And Bruce Golding set up Indicom, where if citizens were suspicious that there was an extrajudicial killing, they could report it. Back in them days, nobody never used to think about them thing there.
No, sir. You remember how JFJ came about?
Exactly.
You remember Agana Barrett?
Every day I talk to Delroy Chuck about how JFJ came
Yeah.
about, because he was a part of it.
Of course he was.
Right. But the worst part about it, Chopper, that a lot of people don't understand, is that Bruce Golding took over. It's like they take over our household and the bank account empty. And then a year later, after you take over the household, the economy crash, which was the 2008 global recession.
You broke already, you know.
You broke already, and now you also broke. Because inflation arise. You can't export none because nobody now buy nothing from nobody. I had to go to the IMF. But Omar Davis had signed a deal with the police and the teachers that he would increase their salaries to 80% of market. And the police went to court to enforce that agreement. You don't remember, Chopper?
But hold on, man. They're going to play the devil's advocate now, because remember, you know, during that period, the PNP is saying, and currently they are out there now on TikTok and all the other platforms, making the argument that it is the GLP who run the economy in the ground back in that period.
Remember the history. Remember, I was a little journalist at RJ at them time there or CVM, whenever in politics. And when the GLP took over and they might try stable the ship and recession come, all of a sudden they were linked with this lawsuit by the Police Federation that the promise that Omar made before the recession, before 2007, that they need to increase the police salaries to 80 and teacher salaries to 80% of what the private sector was getting. And the court ruled in favor of the police.
And we had to find the money and pay them.
The teachers, and we had to pay them the money.
What about the nurses?
That's why we couldn't pay an IMF test. Nurses were not part of it. That's why we never failed the IMF test them, because we never take them. Because we couldn't take them. Because that court decision meant that the government had to find the money.
So hold on again. Come again, Mr. Morgan. Are you saying that the GLP did not take those IMF tests because we know we couldn't pass them? And the reason we couldn't pass them was because the PNP, before the 2007 period, signed an agreement with the police. That says what?
80% of market. If we have to pay them 80% of our private sector teacher get.
Right. And we had to do that.
Because the court said the federation took us to court and the court said you have to pay the man them what you promised them. But here's the worst part. So the JLP lost the election in 2011. And Portia campaigned that she would have an IMF test in 12 days or something like that.
Yes.
Never happened.
Never happened. Remember that.
The worst part about it, we had to go through a wage freeze for almost 3 years, where no public sector worker got an increase. You remember that, Chopper?
Oh, yes. I remember that.
Not only did we have to go through a wage freeze, but under Peter Phillips' regime, they instituted almost $58 billion in new taxes.
In new taxes, yes. Cigarette, everything.
New taxes, cigarette, rum, everything.
Gas.
Transfer tax, everything. Right? And when we hear people across Nigel say, oh, we never in another case where we not increase taxes. I said to myself, them people are wicked and lie because they were in the cabinet.
I know.
The two main man them were in opposition right now. We are trying to fight jail government. Were part and parcel of the regime of Portia Simpson Miller and Peter Phillips that slapped Jamaican people with $58 billion in taxes in 4 years. Think about what I just said to you a while ago. The culture where them grew up in our chopper, the culture where them understanding of politics is a culture of taxation.
But that's the only way. They don't have an idea how to grow the economy.
No. Let us talk about when we won the election. When we start campaigning in 2015, because remember, Peter Phillips went to Yorktown in November of 2015 and announced the election. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember.
And Portia never know about it. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And it was Portia then who announced it in February, for February. When they announced the election, JLP was in shambles. You remember that?
Yes, man. We just came out of the
leadership war
and
argument.
Yes.
And JLP came together and we came up with a thing called 1.5. Do you remember that when we came up with 1.5, the PNP said 1.5
can't work. It'll crash the economy. Foolishness, nonsense. It can't work. That's what they said.
Almost every PNP. As a matter of fact, the current head of one of the major newspapers in Jamaica at a press conference where he said he was a part of a private sector grouping.
Yes.
And they did an analysis of the 1.5 and it couldn't work. Somebody who have a similar name, Chopper.
Yes.
Came out a couple of years ago and endorsed Mark Golding to be the leader of the PNP.
I remember that gentleman. I remember the honorable gentleman.
Somebody with a similar name say 1.5 couldn't work.
Yeah.
And then come out a couple of years later and say Mark Golding is the best person to run the country.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not calling nobody name, so nobody mix me up.
Yes. I don't want to call him name either because them like so, you know. Anyway, them see me, them start to when them see me, them start to screen record, you know. The screen recorders are up right now, you know.
we go for the history, Chopper.
Yes, but them sue history.
So we come with 1.5, and enough of the PNP economists came out and said it couldn't work.
Mm.
They said that it's gimmicks.
Yes.
Remember, we were gonna move the tax threshold from about $700,000 a month, which means that if you were earning $700,000 or less, you wouldn't pay tax, income tax. And we were saying we're gonna move it to $1.5 million.
Yes.
Which means that if you're earning less than $1.5 million, you wouldn't pay income tax. And the PNP said it was a gimmick. And when we won the election, we phased it in over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
The PNP had instituted a thing called the hedge.
Yes, oil hedge.
They were taxing Jamaicans to put on an oil hedge, but them never put on the whole of the money on the edge. You remember, Chapa?
Of course I remember.
They told us that they were gonna use this money for an oil hedge in case the oil price
go up, yes.
And they never put all of the money on the edge. Them tell we lie.
Hey, but like, why you never leave this portfolio long ago? Because this is the next time you like, This is the next time I'm accustomed to. Speak truth. Expose them nastiness now. Since I don't ever ask for. Expose them now. Yes.
We can start the things there. Anyway, we have a Tory time, so we chat Tory. So we put in 1.5 and we phase it in. Right? And them stand up in a parliament and say poor people now gonna benefit from 1.5 because it's a gimmicks.
Yeah.
And we drop it on them and it work.
Perfect.
And then Hardly Shaw drop out of the system. And Nigel come in. And the last budget that Hardly Shaw do in this country chopper, Hardly Shaw take up a piece of pink paper and pan it in paper say, no new taxes. You remember that?
Yes, man. No new taxes.
And from that day until today,
no new taxes.
The Labour Party has not instituted any new taxes on the people of Jamaica. Since the history of Jamaica, there has only been since PNP time, about 2 years in the history of Jamaica since 1970 that we have not had new taxes. Yeah, I just said to you a while ago.
But these things the Jamaican people need to soak these in.
1972.
Yeah.
And since Andrew Holness has been alive, before the JLP come in power, under Andrew Holness, there has only been 2 years that there has not been new taxes.
Only 2 years.
So the Jamaican people, since 1972, Chopper.
Yes. 52 years ago. 52 years. So 50 years of new taxes.
Match this. Imagine if you are a man. And every year...
No, Mr. Man, Nesta. Nesta, Mr. Man. Me not imagine it.
Every year you sit down and Omar Davis come with budget. Hugh Small come with budget. Sierra come with budget. Michael Manley come with budget. Whoever come with budget. And every year you sit down in your living room where they watch radio, watch TV. And you start biting your fingernail.
Yeah, man. You have to wonder, man. What go raise?
Yeah, I said, Jesus Christ, I want more tax now.
You remember say shop used to hide when it come to budget time, no sugar, no flour, no rice, no nothing. Everything short.
If them are going to be able to afford the sugar next week, so them stockpile the sugar. So them can sell it at a higher price.
Yes. They buy it, yes.
When the tax increase,
then get the money on it.
Have enough money
yeah.
to buy sugar again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hold on. I could finish the story. So under Hardly Shaw and now under Nigel Clark and Andrew Wallace, we have had no new taxes in about 7 years. No net new taxes in 8 years. We have had a consistent reduction in employment. We're now at 4% unemployment. we have had a consistent increase in growth. Before the JLP, the constant claim was why we can't pass 1% growth.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have got 2% a year. We double it.
Yeah.
And we did have COVID, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Not only that, we increased school feeding program from 2 days a week to 5.
Mm-hmm. You've paid public sector the highest wages in Jamaica's history.
We have given public sector workers the highest increase in the history of Jamaica.
What about national security?
The increase in public sector salaries has been so significant that Mark Golding is now the highest paid politician in Jamaica.
No, stop it, man. Stop it, Nesta. Mark Golding is the opposition leader and can't get more than the prime minister.
Mark Golding is the highest paid politician in Jamaica.
That is true, chaps. That is very true.
Who want to challenge that?
Me a challenge that.
Let's see.
Just somebody challenge.
Rhetorical.
If somebody challenge me, I will pay them the next month's salary.
Rents, who want challenge Mr. Morgan?
Mark Golding is the highest paid politician.
Nobody don't want to lose the money.
It was what's his name? What the guy the name? What that stupid one the name? What beat and the woman beat him? Doctor. What name?
Yeah, Campbell.
Yeah, I thought his name Campbell.
No man, he might earn 20. Mark I earn about 25.
Okay.
So Mark Golding get
but they that one more than Andrew then. But they still have more than Andrew.
I hope the PMP them here.
So
Can you repeat it, please? Can you repeat it loud?
Mr. Morgan. Mark Golding is the highest paid politician in Jamaica. And you might check it out. I'm not sure, but you can check it out. He probably is the highest paid politician in the English-speaking Caribbean.
Jesus have mercy.
Repeat it again.
Folks, you don't hear what Mr. Morgan said? Mark Golding is the highest paid politician in Jamaica and possible in the Caribbean.
No, we want them to record it, Mr. Morgan.
Mark Golding is the highest paid politician in Jamaica.
And Dayton Campbell is getting twice the amount the PM gets.
Dayton Campbell earns more than the Prime Minister.
Oh, Jesus have mercy. Let me take a sip of my tea. Let me drink some of my coffee.
Time come for what? To rob the poor Jamaicans. Them go away.
Make me finish the story.
Hold on a second then. Make Mr. Morgan land a ship here.
Drink some water, come.
Me have to take my coffee. Never drink my coffee, my boy.
Drink some water, Mr. Morgan. Drink some water.
Come true, Robbie.
So, we gave the public sector workers the highest increase in the history of Jamaica. There's a lot of arguments about what percentage, what this and what that. But what is not in dispute is that public sector workers' salary increased by almost $4 billion over the 4-year period. Or more than that. So if public sector workers never get an increase, where the $4 billion go? Answer the question, Chopper.
If you didn't give that money, you go back in the council?
Where go? Since I will never get the increase, because people are shut off them face.
Well, it must be going on the council. It must sink it back in the council fund after allocate it.
Logically, if it is that government allocates $10 to something,
it must come back in the economy.
And the $10 payout.
It comes back in the economy by way of how they spend and how they live.
But what I know, people are saying that they never get no money.
But Robert, can I say something to you? Remember this, there's a culture in Jamaica, right? Where people do not, you remember how difficult it was during the salary adjustment period for us to get a single teacher to actually show Jamaica their pay stub? Nobody not doing it. So it's a difficult task to get people to even show that my salary has significantly increased.
And the point I'm making to you, Chopper, is this. You see no nurse acquiring?
No.
You see no police acquiring?
No.
We have some little issues with some persons in the system who, when they do such a massive transfer,
you're going to have, yeah.
Anomalies.
Yeah.
But a vast majority of the public sector workers are better off than they were when we came into power. That is, Chopper, as Ganja Claus would say, I may tell a joke, but I'll never tell a lie.
No, malala.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
The vast majority of public sector workers, and when I talk to teachers in my constituency, them tell me, Mr. Morgan, I didn't want more in about me get enough.
Yeah.
Because little teacher will left teachers college shouldn't get so close to me, but I'm glad. Them shouldn't get so close to me, but them not reach me, so I'm glad.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making to you is this. You're not only talking about salary increase, you're not only talking about when we came into power, we had one ship for the JDF.
Uh-huh.
Right, Chopper?
One ship for the JDF.
One ship, not even one ship, probably quarter ship.
Cause it never work.
It never did work good. Now we have about 7.
Mm-hmm.
And why are the ships important? One of the biggest issues that we had as a country was guns for drugs.
Yes.
Between Haiti and Jamaica. But we never had the Coast Guard vessels to patrol
the coastline.
To prevent the guns. So don't take it for granted, you know, Chopper. Part of the reason why murder down for 14% is not just because police step on the ground at the operation. A lot of it has to do with the fact that less guns are coming into the country.
Yes, man.
Why is it that Peter Bunting, when he was National Security Minister, never buy one ship?
I don't know.
Why is it that Peter Bunting, when he was Minister of National Security, never buy enough police car for the police then? Can patrol.
I don't know.
Almost 1,000 cars since we in a government. We buy about 300 bike.
Ballistic vests. I don't see any police demonstrating that they don't have ballistic vests.
The ballistic vest them for the police expired. We're expired.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Morgan.
Yes,
good
my
night. Since you're on the matter of transportation, I heard a radio station somewhere down in St. Anne, approximately 2 weeks ago, saying that it's only 4 garbage trucks that were bought and government beating them chest. I throw it over to you to respond to that claim.
I'm glad you raise it. You know why I'm glad you raise it? Because lion son no agree. You know what I mean?
Lion who?
My grandmother always said lion can't stand up in a sun. You don't remember when we buy the garbage truck, them drive.
I drove behind the garbage truck from Kingston and videotape them.
And some of them go St. Elizabeth.
West Montego Bay got, I think we got about
50.
I don't remember how much Montego Bay got, but I drove behind them from Kingston. Oh.
So, listen me. One of the things that you have to understand about Jamaica in 2024, and me face it in my constituency, people lie.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we developed this thing, the PNP developed this culture where, like me tell to my workers, them this evening when I meet with them, chopper, me say, them can't beat me on the road. Them can't beat me on how much youth me help go to school. Them can't beat me on how much people me help with various government programs. The only thing them can beat me on a lie.
That's it.
Can't be no lie like them.
Can't beat them on that. Them own that.
Can't beat them on lie. Somebody raised the point earlier, chopper, about 2 people with them on social media run off them more.
Sorry, you never respond. You responded about the trucks, but you never responded about the buses. There's, the same radio station, did say the same thing about the trucks.
The bus them travel through half a tree, so you can't hide. The 50 bus them drive through half a tree and we buy them. About the 50 bus them we buy last year, and we get 4 more, and then we get like 14 more, and we can get 100 more before the end of the year. When the bus came off the wharf, as a matter of fact, there's a video of the bus them pan the ship.
Yeah, man, we did that. Mischievous people making those comments. It can't be anybody with sense.
So when the bus them come at the wharf and
we send them back.
After the time,
I will Photoshop it. It was a Photoshop, minister.
There are people on social media who are paid to lie.
Oh yeah.
They're paid to lie. Literally every week, them collect them check.
To lie.
Because they can't beat us on achievements. Remember, one minister from the PNP did tell us that he will go build a film studio at Goodyear in St. Thomas.
But not only that, there was other initiatives too. Remember?
Sure. Remember, Chopper, that when they came up with the rural water thing, the rapid response.
Yes.
Them buy a Benz truck when them never have no dealer in Jamaica to fix the Benz truck them. Remember the Auditor General found so many corrupt practices in the rapid response system that them have to lock it down.
People went to jail. I don't know if you remember that.
That a particular candidate who has been referred for prosecution was on a video talking about is a symbol of how the PNP mash up Jamaica and mismanage poor people money. Him should have shame for stand up in front of the truck them because the truck them is a symbol of their mismanagement and wickedness.
That is how brazen they are, Minister. They are brazen enough to rub that in the faces of Jamaicans. They have no. Hey, listen. Carry on, Minister. Carry on.
So the point I'm making is why I came on the program tonight. Fine, me resign as JLP PR chairman. But when we did a club PNP, we never did a PR chairman.
Exactly.
And the good thing about not being PR chairman anymore is that we're free to say anything more and say almost.
Almost.
Remember,
you're still a Minister of Information, you know.
If I was a betting man, and I would find somebody to bet. When I learned of the news and somebody come to me because them feel they attack me every time, you know. Yes, I see the trouble did it. You know, Sinister resign. They say, are you happy? I say, you happy about that?
unleash problem for themselves.
Yeah. Me say, you are Richard about that because I wanna remember, you know, Chopper or somebody here. One of them bloggers come on Fury Live, you know. And I said, Nesta Morgan, one of the most dangerous. Me and him used to block together. You know what man here, Richard Gray?
But it was here last night. Last night he was here.
Right. So when me hear this news, a lot of people was concerned and things. Say, boy, yes, because the PNP, they say we are in a shambles. Me say, you want to happy about it? Don't worry yourself. You soon see the result. If I was happy,
let me tell you the difference between me and enough of them. Ian Hills was a Labourite. I was in G2K with Ian Hills. And Ian Hills switched to the PNP. Norman was a Labourite. He was a senator while I was early out in my young days. And he switched to the PNP. Lisa Anna was a Labourite. She did married to David Panton. She used to come at G2K meeting. And she switched to the PNP. Let me say this too now. I say it too now. Straight and plain. If God come from heaven tomorrow morning and say, Robert Nesta Morgan, you need to switch from the JLP to the PNP, I go up on my knees and I pray to him and say, God, don't ask me that. If you ask me that, I go sin. When I look in my history as a Jamaican, and it's a personal history, my mother used to work at the Free Zone. And when PJ Patterson came into power, my mother had to leave Jamaica because she could not get a job. The history of PNP destruction in Jamaica for me, Robert Nesta Morgan, is personal.
I'm one of them of a test of the factory worker. Continue, Mr. Morgan.
Stop up the screen, folks. Hold on a second, Minister. Let me just before you start the bus, before you jump on the bus, hold on a little bit. Folks, we have about 300 persons here. I ask everybody to share the live to at least 5 or 10 persons. Real quick. Just share the live to 5 or 10 persons. Come through, Nesta. Jump on the bus.
Chopper, my mother used free zone and send me go us. When I was young, in a poor, my father buy him first car, which was a Hillman on top.
Yeah.
When PJ and Omar came into power, them liberalized
the dollar
car import business,
mm-hmm.
where everybody could get a deportee. My father taxi business mash up. Both of my parents had to migrate from Jamaica because of PNP policies. I'm gonna come and talk. Understand.
Hold on a second there, guys. Minister is breaking up a little. You're breaking up there, Minister. You're breaking up there a little bit. Yeah, hold on a second. Just jump off and jump on back. Oh, there you're good now. You're good. You're good now. Yeah, jump off and come back. All right, I think you're good now. Let's see. If you got a call a while ago, probably that's right. Yeah, I'm hearing you now. Perfect.
I am from Woodall in North Central.
Yes.
No, you hear me?
Yeah, man, loud and clear.
I am from Woodall in North Central, Clarendon, a deep rural area in Clarendon. Since Bradrick left, all the roads them mash up, pothole mash up. My grandmother donkey couldn't go a bush because they gave up on the road because the road mash up. Woodall used to be one of the largest producers of lowland coffee, pimento, banana, and all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Under the 18 years of the PNP, all of that was destroyed. I remember as a kid, I used to beat pimento. And black ants used to bite me, chopper.
Mm-hmm.
Because me I beat pimento. Under the PNP, the farming structure in Woodall got destroyed. So when a guy come to me and tell me about Jamaica and how different government this and different government that, they can't tell me that, come live it. I saw it firsthand, what the philosophy that they have, how it destroyed our society and our country.
Mm-hmm.
I saw where people who used to be so progressive and people who used to be hunting and fighting for a living started thinking that handout from a politician was how they were going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Bulwark.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You understand what I say, mm-hmm.
And it's hurting us now.
So nobody can come tell me about what them do, because I experienced it. When my father came home one day and we asked him, so what happened to Mr. So-and-so?
Mm.
And he said, boy, Mr. So-and-so now drive with me again, because him can't charter the car to go to town again because government take away him business. And I said, Daddy, what you mean? He said, yeah, one thing named Finsack in about. Them call him Bob. He said, have a thing named Finsack in a way. Him borrow some money and the bank tell him, say, the interest rate increase.
And he can't pay it.
Pay the interest rate, so then come for him business and him house. So the person who used to take my father car chopper to go to town and go buy goods a week time or every 2 weeks could not buy goods anymore because Finsack take away him house and him car. None of them can't tell me about PNP. Yeah, I know PR chairman again for the JLP chopper.
Mm-hmm.
It is my duty, solemn duty as a Jamaican, regardless of what they try to do to me, because they have tried, and you chopper know that they have tried.
Oh yeah. Let me stop.
They've written their articles in the paper every week. They have
campaign.
They have launched campaigns. They came to Moko with $8 million on election day. $8 million.
You think you was a target?
To target me. But at the end of the day, regardless of whether I am this or that, or whether I have my position, I have my education, I have my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and as long as I have breath in my body, I will continue to fight for what is right for my country because I have experienced what it is like.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have some people in the box with you there.
I have another story to tell you.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Well, I'm going to tell the story, Mr. Morgan. Good night, Chopper. Good night, everyone. I am from Southeast and Catchy, and we are realizing that we have a mass migration of PNP from over jungle moving in Portmore. What can we do to get rid of them?
You can't get rid of them. Make sure you have your good scrutineer. Yeah.
But transfers, your scrutineer needs to ensure that any transfer that comes into your constituency or your division or your PD
It's legitimate.
is legitimate.
Yeah.
Do not allow 20 people to live in a 1 yard. And your scrutineer needs to make sure that when they are going to scrutinize the transfer, that the person who is transferring actually lives at the location.
At least 6 months.
Well, what we found out, I'm a part of Robert Miller team, but what I found out, we have 25 persons living in one house. And the police removed some from the Southeast and Catching belt. But we still find a little pocket. Even the little dreadlocks boy, him migrate in a Bridgeport, Portmore.
That sounds like an off-the-record conversation.
Yeah. Touch base off the record. We can tell you how to deal with it. I am from a constituency, Robbie, where the candidate who went up against MP Clark in 2020, his brother, who was his campaign manager, tried to transfer prior to 2020, and it's 2024 now, and he still cannot get on the voters list in this constituency.
Are you scrutineer doing his work?
Of course.
No. The last story I want to tell you, Chopper, is that when I was going to high school, there was a teacher who was a member of the organization of which Mark Golding is the president. And she tried to recruit me to go to Cuba. I said to her, I'm not interested. I love Edward Sierra. When I was running in 2020, now this is a teacher that I love and respect, you know.
Mm.
When I was running in 2020, I went to the teacher to try and talk to her. Do you know that the teacher refused to talk to me?
Why?
So I want you to understand what I just said to you a while ago. This is a teacher that taught me, and I won't say the school.
Yeah.
For several years, while I held in high regard, even though I knew that her political persuasion was not similar to mine.
Right.
And when I was running, out of respect, I drove to her house and I stopped at her house. She was on the balcony and I went up to talk to her and she ran me from her yard.
Oh, wow.
I want you guys to understand. A lot of labor rights don't understand, Chopper. We need to understand the philosophy of the PNP.
Wow.
You see, while we labor rights are always accommodating and we will engage with people and we will talk to people and we will give, as a government, we don't victimize people, whether you're a contractor or whatever. We never put that in place. We believe that you're a Jamaican and you deserve opportunities.
Fair shot.
Don't make the mistake of believing that when certain people get into power,
they're going to do the same.
Right, they can go a certain place.
Oh, Mr. Morgan, I'm really listening to you keenly. So if the labor rights don't victimize people, why is it that a certain lady with a name that sounds similar to Calvary is on her live saying that, well, not similar, but it represents Calvary, saying that labor rights don't accommodate PNP, and she's not the only one I hear said that. Yesterday I heard another gentleman with the name, who represents the party, said the same thing. Where did they get this narrative from?
Because they're trying to gaslight you into thinking that you're worse than you actually are.
Yeah.
Now, remember this. For me personally, personally, when somebody comes to my office in my constituency, I don't know if they're a PNP. A lot of people who are PNP get help from my office because I'm not one of the MP them who, oh yeah, PNP, you sick? Alright, go ahead. No. A lot of the contractors who work for government, nobody's not looking at them and say, are you a PNP or a JLP? The PNP, it suits them to spread a narrative among their faithful that because it builds on that victim complex that they have developed to hate the other side. Paula Llewellyn never get victimized until she start do her job. She was always doing her job, and when she start prosecute certain things because it's her job, that is when them start cut her throat.
A second a minute. Chuck, please mute Chuck. Mute your mic, Chuck. Mute your mic.
I'm a member of the government. I'm just speaking here as a Jamaican observing. Why is Paula such an enemy of them? What should do them so? Chuck, why you don't turn off something, Chuck, or the beeping or something?
Chuck, mute your mic. Chuck, mute your mic.
Chuck, allow me.
Moderator, just help him and just mute the mic for him now.
Chuck needs to go to work. Him alarm is going off. The point I'm trying to make to you is this. We need to be very careful. We're on a public platform, so I'm being very careful of not letting people convince you that you're not what you are. You have to go mute, Chuck.
Chuck, why you don't Chuck out?
Oh, Chopper gone. Mute him.
Who is moderator? Please to just mute Chuck, please. Mute him.
Chuck out of your bed, man.
So the point I'm making to you guys is
for phone let a mash up the thing, man.
So you got where you go bathroom?
Mute Chuck, Chopper.
Never refill my coffee, man.
Oh, a coffee I drink, I don't believe it.
Have to, man. Me never choice.
Anyway, so I came on tonight just to heal up everybody and just to big up everybody. Never expect to stay so long. But I want to make people understand this. The last point I want to make is I want to go into some electoral politics.
Please.
Chopper, do you remember that in last year, about March, everybody said the JLP was dead?
Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
Dan Anderson came out with a poll that said JLP was 3 points behind.
Yes.
He came out with 2 polls. As a matter of fact, the Gleaner take the PNP poll, which I've never seen in my life, where a national newspaper take a political party poll and publish it on the front page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
By August, September, Blue Dot came out and said JLP was leading. You remember?
Yes.
So moved from 4 points behind after SSL, the road traffic, car seat business and inflation in June, July, March. And then by September, we are lead. Don Anderson came out with a poll in December, January saying that we're 1 point ahead. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Remember, I know. In a March 2023, JLP was supposed to lose every election. JLP dead. Right, Chopper?
Mm-hmm.
How the hell JLP win local government election?
Well, that is something for us to. I tell you that this election is something that we need as case study, you know.
Pause. We don't reach to say it. I ask you a direct question. If it is that the Jamaica Labour Party, March, April, May, June, July, was 3 points behind the PNP according to Don Anderson, and was 1 point ahead of the PNP according to Don Anderson in December, how did the JLP win local government election?
Because the polls were not accurate.
No, the polls were very accurate.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make to labor rights is this. Jamaica does not want the PNP. The biggest problem the JLP has is the JLP. Let me explain. Jamaica Labour Party supporters need to recognize that if you look at the government over the last 8 years, there's been no government in the history of Jamaica that has done as much for the country as the JLP. But the numbers will show you that while the PNP increased their votes in the local election, the JLP voters decreased their votes. More roads were built, more water was turned on, more benefits. Look at COVID. Every member of parliament was distributing 3,000, 4,000 food packages in communities. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said, oh, but the people them don't know. Of course you know. The road where you did cost about a few much years now. Your MP bill it or your councillor bill it. Stop telling lie. People know.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, sometimes when we have something for a long time, we take it for granted.
True.
We have not had taxes for such a long time, so people don't remember what it felt like when taxes were being imposed every April, March.
Mm-hmm.
There are many people who are now in Jamaica who don't remember what it was like when Omar went to talk, or Peter Phillips went to talk in Parliament, and then at the end of the budget, he take up the pink paper and him start read the revenue measures. They don't remember. Chopper, they don't remember.
And they don't remember how much money they used to boast about how much money they get to borrow.
They don't remember, Chopper, when driving from Harborview to Yalas took 2.5 hours and you needed to go to the doctor after to straighten your back.
Mm-hmm.
They don't remember when you couldn't drive from Harborview to Portland. Better you drive from Harborview to Junction to Portland.
Mm-hmm.
You remember, Chopper?
Oh yeah, a trip to say, listen, a trip from Kingston to Ocho Rios was treacherous, going through Mount Rasa, Flat Bridge, Fern Gully.
You don't remember, Chopper, when Palisades used to flood?
Yes.
When the rain start falling, you want to catch a flight.
The sea and the harbor come together.
And one of the JD amphibian tank them used to have to come out. Right? Remember that? And Mike Henry went to China and convinced the Chinese to build up Palisades, so the big stone them are Palisades.
Yes.
People don't remember that, you know?
Yes.
Do you remember one time when the rain falls so much that the JUTC bus gets stuck on Palisades and the sea almost take it away?
Of course. The harbor and the sea meets regularly every year, every May. Every May used to happen.
And the army had to send one of the amphibian, I don't know if them still use them, amphibian tank out to Palisades to pick up people
Who were marooned across, yeah.
who were stuck in the water and nervous as hell. You don't remember that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And which is why I said to you before I go, do not make the mistake of thinking that people remember. People try to forget hardships.
Mm-hmm.
And the hardships that we went through in the 90s and the 2000s, a lot of people are so traumatized by them that they don't want to remember them. So when a JP person goes to somebody and say, remember I said me fix your road, and the person says, so that's your job. It's not that they might try disrespect you, you know. It's actually them it was so traumatic what they had to go through on that road that them just want to forget about it. Them just want to enjoy the road. But the flip side of that is that at the end of the day, if the Jamaica Labour Party people do not spread the message about how significant the transformation has been over the last 8 years, then people are not going to recall how rough it was before.
Yeah. Well, guys, before Robert goes, you guys free to ask him 1 or 2 questions quickly before him leave.
We have 5 minutes.
We only have 5 minutes, yeah? So if you guys have some questions, pop a few questions at him real quick. Go ahead. Divi, you're up.
So, General, you're still the information minister? Yes, sir. I don't get fired from that one yet.
Well, you never get fired from communications
That's
either.
a joke, by the way.
I know.
So, the PNP if you splice that. That's a joke. Because that's what the breeze a blow up. Actually, I said to you, the breeze always blow. Sometimes the breeze blow west, sometimes blow east. What is most important is that I continue to work for the party, to work in my constituency, and to try to help to make Jamaica a better place. It doesn't matter what position you're in, There are people who don't have any position in the Jamaica Labour Party. Chopper don't have a position in the JLP. But he spends his own money and his own time and comes online and spreads the good message of the Jamaica Labour Party. I think a lot of the times we focus so much on people who have positions.
Mm-hmm.
And positions is only a name, When I came into the party, Ryan Peralta was the general secretary. Where is he now? In 2000. Where is he now? The point I'm trying to make to you is that it is not necessarily the position you hold or who you are. It's the impact that you leave and what works have you done to build your country and make your country better. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Yep. Esther?
So somebody saying in the comment, you need to check your email, please. That's number one. Number two, and I think that is so important because if we have emails and we're not checking it, it not tastes well. Also, somebody saying, tell him to make the party of the MP caretakers out.
Yeah, but I can't force anybody to talk, though, sweetheart. I come on here because I probably have a particular talent to speak. Not everybody is trained. Not everybody has, like, a man is a carpenter, he's good at that. Another man is a welder, he's good at that. Another man is a driver, he's good at that. In a party, you have different people who have different talents. So you can't force somebody to do something that they're not good at. So let's say we force a guy or a girl to start saying things and then it end up where they say the wrong thing. So what we have to continue doing as a party is keep building talent and keep improving people and keep training people.
Yep.
So yes, you're right. We need more people to talk, and that's something that the leader and the rest of the party recognize.
Mm-hmm.
We have to give people an opportunity to function in the best way that they're.
I think that's what she meant in terms of out. I think she means on the ground. If is Ren's there? I think she means on the ground to get them out on the ground in the field. I think that's what she meant.
Is Ren's asking the question?
Yeah.
Ren's, you need to come in the box, man.
She means on the ground, out, which I can understand. On the ground, the field.
I need to ask a question. Every constituency has runner, indoor agent, outdoor agent, supervisor, councillor, MP caretaker, whatever, PD captain. Like, if you have a constituency that has 60 PDs, that means that you have one indoor for each PD that has 60, one outdoor for each PD that has 120, plus, let's say, 2 runners for each PD, 120 times 2, that's 240, 240 plus 120, that is what? 360. They have 360 people in a constituency with 60 polling divisions who are supposed to be ambassadors. But one of the things they have to realize is that in some cases, in some constituencies, we have election day workers, not community workers.
Yeah.
Right? And that's something that we have to think about. are you an election worker?
You only get activated on election day. Yeah.
Right. How much people you're telling the MP or the councillor turn 18 and need to enumerate? How many people who have a dead yard or have a death in the family or is a shutting or need some help? How many kids are there that could go on the PART program? How many people are you taking to the MP office to get some back to school assistance or anything like that? So it's not just the MP and the councillor, but every single worker has a role to make the party better. And I think a lot of the mistakes that we make a lot of the time is to think people are gods and they can work miracles. There's a reason why you have a political structure in each division, and it is to help the party to be stronger. So if you're going to come to and criticize your member of parliament, and you can't tell me how many 18-year people turned 18 in the last 6 months of the year.
You're not worthy. Yeah, that's true.
You are part of the problem.
Problem, not the solution. True. Queen of Sun, your question next. And who wants to volunteer to jump down and give Renz a spot?
When are we going to start to have some town and country meetings all around Jamaica?
But I am no longer the PRS.
Oh, we need to start to get our information.
That's a good idea. When I was
we need to refute the PNP propaganda vigorously right now.
That's something that I'll pass on to the party.
Good.
Please, thanks.
1 minute, Chopper.
Yeah, man.
I will volunteer my box to Renz.
All right, good. Renz, where you at? All right, who else got a question? Renz is in the box. Go ahead, Renz. Gregory, you're up next.
All right, Chopper. Following up on the question as it relates to that. I understand what you explained, but I think the problem since as we hear multiple people expressing the same about the MPs, and so I guess it would be fair to say to have that team around you being effective. Maybe what is happening is that the motivation factor. Do you think there can be more to be done to motivate these persons to be more than just an election day workers?
Yeah, of course, there's always more that can be done. I mean, you're a part of politics, and politics is the art of the possible. There's always room for you to engage with more people. There's always room for you to bring in more young people into the system, to find the people who have been there for a long time and encourage them to participate more. But you have to also have a mindset change in the politics. Listen, the reality of it is this. I saw the PNP run a campaign on the lies and almost win a local election. Think about what I just said to you a while ago.
I understand that clearly, but
an MP or a councillor alone. So, like, for example, the reason why I know the lie that the people at PNP them tell upon me is that when a guy got to church today and him stand up on the platform and him start to lie for me, somebody in the church video it and send it to me. Because me have people in the communities. So me have stockpile all of the lie them when him tell upon me. You understand? But if the workers don't recognize, because you have to recognize this, the party is not the MP and it's not the councillor, the party is the people. You hear me just say a while ago?
Party is the people.
I have seen PNP workers on election day don't get paid. And Labour right have to buy them a bun and cheese. And you don't hear about it. Think about what I
But if a Labour don't get paid.
I have seen PNP workers in my constituency do not get $1 to go to the polling station. And when the white squad start lick them, it's the Labour right outdoor agency. Because them living in the same community, them know each other, Labour right outdoor agency. Why you look hungry, man? You eat from morning. Boy, them not giving nothing, And me give her a bag with food, so she have food. And she have a little thing in her pocket and she say, yo, all right, I'll buy you a bun and cheese and a Pepsi. But you will never hear nothing about it. In the last election, there are many PNP drivers and outdoor agents who did not get paid in my constituency. I never hear anything about it. It says to you that we have great privilege in being in the government, but with great privilege
Come responsibility, yeah.
Each and every Jamaica Labour Party supporter needs to start recognizing that it's better for the Jamaica Labour Party to be in power, and we are in there together fighting to build Jamaica, than for us to be outside of power.
Wondering what's going on inside.
And wondering what is going on inside.
Renz, you have the final one, Renz. Did we go through everybody?
Yeah, what I was saying, I understand that you're the PR coordinator, right? Fear, understand, but you also still have the years of the party. When I speak to the caretakers, and we have to admit some of the faults that happen. Some of the divisions know them caretakers too late. What I am suggesting is that we need to try and finalize the caretakers for all 63 constituencies from now.
Early.
Make them have the meeting within the some constituencies are very big. I am in St. James, Ed Bartlett, and Oma have one of the biggest constituencies. We understand that. But get the caretakers be known to the people within the community. Have meetings, community meetings. Talk to them to come out and master them in the communities. Because sometimes, you know, personally, after campaign, you just need to lick a 1 and 2 man and they make them campaign for you.
But what I'm gonna do,
what I'm saying,
I'm gonna get the general secretary to come on one of these lives, so that he can have a conversation with you guys.
Sounds good.
So that he can address some of these issues.
Sounds good. Very good. We'd appreciate that.
Tapa, 11 o'clock, go on to bed.
Yeah, man.
We need to get them out, man.
No, we're burning the candle until late, man. Don't worry yourself. But respect. Appreciate you coming through, Nesta.
Take care of yourself and big up on yourself, all right?
Always. Yeah, man. Enough respect. Yeah. So that was Nesta. Good little conversation there. Nice question, Renz. I think we have to get back to putting things in place early. That simply means, you know.
Even what beat between the people even though I don't think you're supposed to look for all you know. But chaps, look at a division like troop.
Yeah.
You know what me talk. No for them only vote for troop because they see name, you know. If they move troop tomorrow morning, that constituency, that division collapse, you know.
Gone, man. Gone.
So what me try to say is we need to get the people and be known. Make us them see name, then just put a X beside the name. They not even take note of which
name.
Know this and name here. Me I go vote for. That is what happened in some of these constituencies, you know. For true, me can't tell if you a fact say that's enough for them vote for true. So we need to get the care. We can't wait until months before election call 2
You're right.
I remember caretakers.
I remember that the PMP them very done, so they sitting on our life, taking our ideas and running the leg camp with it. And use it against me.
Yeah, me understand.
But that means them are done then.
Them out, man. Give the caretakers out. I mean, like how them have free up some of the MP them, because if you notice, if you look at it, it was a strategic move. Notice the persons who resigns and the persons who are taking over. It's a strategic move. Notice that like them do some free up so that people can go in at them area or work. So we need to get them out. And sometimes the party is not the issue, you know, in regards to the Jamaica Labour Party itself, you know. It comes back to people voting. Labour rights are one of the most cocky voters. We know that. We're full of ourselves, and we think we need to take some of the page out of the PNP book. Labour rights are like this. If me not know you, me not vote for you. Well, PNP, once I see a PNP, then Just fling on our iron something upon them with them both them see and
they want money too. We tell them want money. They want money too. Want to give them money to money.
No. You see that transactional politics that you see going on, that's what the PNP is trying to push. That's what the PNP is trying to push. Because they know you can't get them to vote. And policies.
That is happening from morning. Who is this thing about money rights always? Come off the life. What kind of PNP ideas we taking? We don't like propaganda and baga. Please, the bird.
Which ideas? This are common sense.
PNP ideas. Come off the life, man. We don't.
This are common sense. This are common sense thing. Someone don't understand what you're talking about. So we need to focus on the constituencies. The MP, them need to go out and work. You have MPs that are working, But why the constituency, when they some of them just don't care. They love PNP more than
they laid back.
And that's why have some constituency, the people them love PNP more than the development of the constituency. They rather not see the constituency develop just the interest of PNP in power.
And then they come on the media man and go around. Last time hard, we can't take it. Sisters, hey. Because
PNP is not Westmoreland. And over Westmoreland is one of the least developed parishes. Look at St. Thomas was one of the least developed parishes. And what St. Thomas did.
One day I tried to go to Westmoreland. And all the time you go Westmoreland, but I never used to go down there. And one day I take a drive out and go down there. But my mouth and said, people living there down here like this, and some house with 4 tick on it. Yes. Some places I was like, wow.
You ever notice a billboard house in Westmoreland?
Yes, I see it. I was like,
yeah.
Spanish in there. And I remember I'm going, them was like, really people living like this?
Even Hanover, I never been to Hanover before, but I heard that in Hanover, most models in Hanover as well. Hanover before, but I heard.
I go play the anthem. Somebody just asked me to play it. Let me play it. Hold on.
Rights and justice is our everlasting song. Unity and progress will make our nation strong. Stand up for your rights when you hear the bell. Stand up for justice, hear the freedom bell. Remember us the man, take serve you well. Stand up to Jamaicans when you hear the bell.
I have to interrupt when we can't continue now. We can't just modernize a song that's entrenched.
A while ago, I heard.
Just modernize a song that's
yeah, see, that's wrong. Okay.
A while ago, I heard the statement being made about Westmoreland, and while to us it may be shocking, we have to be careful. And let me tell you why I say that, because sometimes culture dictates how someone may view things. So to those who are accustomed to concrete houses, it may be appalling in their eyes. But in that community, it may, because it's normal, it may not be seen as anything and not a big deal to them. And so we can't do like the Americans and impose our values on them. I mean, the roads and the other infrastructural issues, I think those should be of greater concern, but people choosing to live that way might just be a choice on their part, as opposed to Anything.
I understand, and as you were saying, the infrastructure too is part of it.
Okay.
And the infrastructure is a part of it too. I forget to add it. Because I was there, the infrastructure is poured on there.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
Alright, you're still here, for Portmore. When Portmore was developing, I think Mr. Siaga was the one when he was development minister. And when he developed Portmore, I didn't know that it's over Portmore developed by the Jamaica Labour Party by Mr. Siaga when he was development minister. Right? And the PNP and after, right? I see now I think the Portmore can become the PNP's stronghold. To show you that the PNP is everything let's say no. You're the one that says it's not gonna work and think what's you want and become competitive from it. Same thing like with the Sunday calling. So now after most amount is a good for calling for the government. You understand? I think I never Sunday calling. Things so now sometimes they don't have buy water when it falls. Well, everybody mute their mic. Good night.
Yeah, hello everybody.
Good night.
We are back.
Good night.
Yeah, hello.
Chopper is back.
Yeah. Yeah. I was saying about Chopper. What more? I did not know that it what more developed by Mr. Sierra while he was development minister. And the PNP, I mean, used to laugh at it. You understand? I don't remember example they used to say about Portmore. And now Portmore, becomes the PNP's stronghold. Which they the other one was criticizing about Portmore. That part I can't understand.
Yeah, Portmore is Portmore was developed by Eddie Siaga originally. But such is that the PNP is going to take credit for stuff that they didn't do, and it's just for us to pretty much try to establish the truth for persons. Joshua, Esther, Renz. Ezra, Renz still here? Gregory.
I think though, Chopper, as patriotic Jamaicans, we for the posterity of this country and so that we're historically factual. Those of us who want our children to understand, for those of us who want our children and grandchildren, and maybe even our brothers and sisters, to have an accurate presentation and representation of history. We have a duty as Jamaicans to correct, and that rewriting of history as presented by those who wants to spew falsehood. It doesn't matter which side the falsehood is coming from. We who are patriotic must stamp it out, must fight it down, must not allow it to stand.
You never allow it to stand.
And as such, even correcting the history that is being taught at University of the West Indies, I believe it's going to be very difficult to do because of the entrenched partisan nature of placement of persons within those institutions and the politics that we practice. But we have a duty to ensure that history is presented accurately from the kindergarten straight up to tertiary level. You know, and wherever we find ourselves, whenever we hear falsehood is being spewed, to correct it as much as we're able to.
You know, I want to add on that, JJ, because you made mention of the university. I have a niece. I be a bright people in my family. She's a doctor. Remember one day she came home and she said, you know, one of her lecturer, nothing good about Mr. Seago. How I operate, me not really like talk. I say, look here, there's a library, Tom Library. Go up there. And everything you want to know about Mr. Sega, it is there.
Absolutely, that's true.
Yeah, and I'm telling her that's what she did. I said to her, because she's super bright, I want you to come here and live with me, you know, because you're going to make a lot of money. I live in a tax-free environment. And she said yes. And can I tell you something? One day she texted me and she said, Auntie, we changed my mind. So me quickly call her and say, what happened? You know what she said to me? She said she's very happy with her salary increase. You know what I tell you? The increase that the government did. Let me not call it an increase. Restructuring, if that's the right term. She should not come in to live with me again. Because she's happy with that, with the salary that she's getting. What am I saying? The fact is, we have done so much in terms of government. Because I think one of the problems we're having, you know, most of the people that are in government, they did not vote. One nurse says she's not voting because she's waiting on the 100% increase that Mark Golden promised. And I'm saying to myself, that doesn't even make any sense to me. But most of our public sector workers, they did not vote. And I cannot fathom as to the reason behind that. You have never seen such amount of salary you're getting because all you get back in those times were MOUs and freezes. So I cannot comprehend why is it public sector workers are not voting. But back to JJ, yes, at the university level, sometimes they want to demonize Mr. Sega, all in him dead. But I'm saying to people out there, when you go to Tom Library, everything is there at the Tom Library about Mr. Siaga.
Esther, let me just read this while you're at it there. This is a part of the press release from Dr. Chang. He announced to the Central Executive that Robert Morgan has resigned as chairman of the party's Public Relations Committee. Party leader Holness advised the body that a public relations council is to be established to lead the party's communications effort. Membership of that council will be revealed at a later date. All right. So to replace Robert as PR, they are going to put a public relations council in place, meaning it's going to be a group of people who will be responsible now for PR as opposed to one person. Make sense?
It does. I like that move. It does.
Yeah. Yeah. More eyes, more mouth.
You see, that's the same game they're playing, you know. When that 77 bandwagon release, you know, just the numbers them are trying playing, you know, having more people out on the forefront.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just spilling garbage all over
It
the
makes
place.
sense.
If you notice, as soon as Ian Hales was announced via that big bandwagon, him just start cause pure havoc now with Smalan.
Right away.
Lie for the other.
Yep.
And it's the same. Dana Scott got vocal instantly.
Yep, that's the strategy.
It's the same thing. So it's a good counter. It's a good counter. And I believe this counter will balance everyone taking care of their responsibility as well as being more robust on the communication front.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he should have shame of himself. I mean, like him, I don't know which rock him crawl back out from under. He needs to just go back which rock him come from. Like, seriously, nobody really want you from your ears. Yeah, nobody really want you from you.
Yep, that is true. He's been very vocal.
The PNP try everything to undermine the government and the Jamaica Labour Party. And try everything. You understand? And when them say, things now for them come with something else. That's what the PNP are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So chaps, I guess they haven't provided us with a name. They just said that they're gonna do 3 persons.
Well, they didn't say 3. They said they're going to put together a public relations council, and that the names for those persons will be released shortly. So I don't know the council what number is going to take on, but I'm quite certain it's going to be a few persons, at least probably about a half a dozen.
Chopper.
Yeah.
I hope so them have 1 per parish.
I'm hoping, I don't know if it's going to be 1 per parish. It might be 1 per area council.
Okay.
It might be 1 per area council. I'm not sure, but let's look at it.
Yeah, remember what I think about is that when you have somebody that oversee each, say area council then.
Yes.
Right? And in each division, you have the council caretaker, or MP caretaker. All of them should have produce something that the PM or the government, the cabinet put out them for the push out there. And then because you want credible things, you understand?
Yes.
To make up the stuff them. It now go easy. We can make errors. So when them push it out, we carry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not even worried about. I know we are going to win the election.
There's no doubt about that. That's true, Esther. Yeah. There's no.
Yeah, my only concern.
We still have to put in the work.
Yeah, but my only concern, honestly, and this would it rides me every day. I want us to remain in the 40s.
I think we can win 40 plus seats. There might be a few seats that we might lose, but I'm still optimistic that we can take home in excess of 40. It certainly will not be 49. I don't think anybody is expecting to have a repeat based on the incumbency of the government and the unpopularity that is swirling over our heads now, unless there's something dramatic that happens within the PNP that could get the PNP, riled up against each other, and then we could slip through the crack. But outside of that, hey, it's gonna be a little tight.
And I don't get it. But we just have to just push, as Travis said. Because when you look at what the government is doing, the things that we touch, the PNP they would have never and they did not touch it because it's not politically sexy.
And they can't.
Because think about the salary to the public sector.
They've been promising that for years. They couldn't touch it. They couldn't touch it.
Because they know they're going to lose vote and people are black wood and them somebody on. But we did because we are not.
Because they could not raise the income of the country. The GDP lingered below 500 billion when they were in control. It was 400 and something. We have basically tripled that by tightening up the tax office, making sure that it's easier for people to pay their taxes, giving incentives for paying your taxes so people want to pay their taxes. We have produced more jobs, more people are working today, which means the consumption of goods and services will rise too, so we'll get in more money from the general income tax, from general consumption tax, GCT rather. So they weren't looking at it that way. Their only intention was to go out and borrow money instead of raising the country's GDP. And right now, I'm hearing the whispers, I'm hearing the right people talking about it, about bringing Jamaica to an area where we're not just, catering for ourselves. We're producing stuff that we can sell internationally. That's what we need to raise now. Yes, we're very good with tourism. I was listening to somebody on the live and I was asking, who was it that was saying, I keep texting, who is that is speaking? Who is that is speaking? Because
I text you and you answered. I text you. It was the ex-G2K guy, Strawn, and you answered.
I would love to have a conversation with that brother.
All right, folks.
He is, listen, I'm sorry I never get to that.
A beautiful evening.
To the information minister.
I think we have come to the end of our little session over here.
Things that I've been saying, but
I appreciate you guys coming on. Everton, Betsy Powell, and everybody else who is on or who has been on. Carl Muir, Mikhail, and everybody. Marlene, Devon, Sawyers.
What's it called, Chopper?
Appreciate you guys coming on.
We're looking at commercial storage spaces.
I appreciate you guys coming on. Until we go live again, please, I'm asking you guys, Mikhail, everybody, Donovan, everybody who is Devon, sorry, all the folks over here, Michelle, make sure that you go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. And if you have not yet followed us on TikTok, please, it's the same name, Chops Media. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys staying with us all up in your numbers right up until 11:31 in the PM. And you notice that the guys on TikTok, they can't hear me because I'm muted on TikTok, but you can hear them. If you notice, they are still up and running. That's the beauty about these streaming guys. We are now able to stream a little longer and give everybody a chance to come in. So please follow us on our TikTok page. We need to bring that TikTok page up to 10,000. And I know you guys can do it. So everybody over on this, all 200 of you guys, please hop over to TikTok and make sure you're following the TikTok page, right? Like the content, follow the TikTok page. And if you are on here and you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, please, I beg of you, go ahead and oh, you don't do TikTok, Michelle? That's all right. Well, you're here with us on YouTube, so we appreciate you liking and following the page and press the notification bell. That simply means whenever we are live, you guys will be the first to get notified. We go live every Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and we are live on TikTok almost every day. So come out and support the thing. We appreciate you guys. And I appreciate you guys sticking and staying with us. All the best until we meet again. Continue to support the Jamaica Labour Party. Continue to support this government because this government is doing the right things for Jamaica. We love and respect you. Miss Violet, how you doing? Good to see you.
Oh my God.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, I'm sorry I didn't big up my Facebook people because Facebook is where we started. We can't neglect Facebook. So all the Facebookers over at Shopping Block and the Chopper John West Facebook page as well. And go ahead and follow each other. Give some support to each other so at least we can grow. That's what we're here for. Peace. I love you all. Enough respect.
We are set apart. I'm telling you, we are set apart.